Well, you said you like to have the Drunk Witch stream open and then keep talking, but as soon as I start it, you don't say a word.
Oh, Lord, sorry, I was getting
Oh,
a drink,
didn't
y'all.
you just say you were going to talk a little quieter?
Mm-mm. I'm from Texas.
I'll mute your ass.
We don't do quiet.
I will mute you. Not
Is this the
reduce, not lower, but mute.
is this the part I can be silly on before it starts?
They cannot see a video just yet. I lied.
No, I know you just did the audio.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I would, however, like an incense. What should we burn? I need to open my psychic abilities.
Your mother.
What's Loban? Is that a good one?
I don't know what that is. Read the English side of it.
Oh, no, it is Loban. Incense sticks. Oh, it smells kind of good. Oh, we have a lot of incense, a lot of tarot card decks, thanks to Mystic Salon.
Mm-hmm. We?
Oh, well, I have quite a few. I bet I have 10, 15 with my Orcus.
Okay. Whatever's working for you.
I
Uh-huh.
wonder what everybody's doing tonight.
Who knows? Probably it's Friday. What do you think? Probably it's Friday. What do you
Oh, I need to get a buzz.
There was a duplication and some feedback. That was funny though.
You like this and you know it.
Be careful singing songs that we don't have trademarks so you can get you shut down.
Oh, I always wanted to be a radio DJ. This is my chance.
It ain't gonna happen.
It was my high school dream.
Oh, dreams are meant to be crushed.
Oh, man. Can't believe it's freaking Friday. What a week.
Can't believe I'm making a song about my tits. Big,
Big.
big tits. Oh wait, it's boobs. My bad.
Didn't you just fuss at me for doing that?
Yeah, I doubt she's copyrighting her song anywhere.
I need my vape.
It's a good song though, y'all. You should check it out.
That is a really good song. It's got a good beat.
Good
Big,
beat.
big
Good
boobs.
beat. Good beat. Yeah, that is actually a really funny song. I'm surprised.
And I'm famous. And
But you know
daddy's
what?
writing checks.
As funny as it might be to some people, cannot joke her because she is certainly doing whatever the hell she wants to fucking do. And
Okay.
that is manifesting your life.
What have you manifested lately?
Ooh. I don't know, but I do pretty well at sitting down at this desk and manifesting all kinds of drinks without any work. People are coming in right now. If they do, I don't think anybody will, but if they do, it'll be really funny because they're going to see the screen and be like, what the fuck are these idiots doing?
Famous.
I am FAMUS already.
I'm not drunk enough.
No kidding. You must not have had anything to drink yet. Because the only
Mm-mm.
time you're sober is if you haven't even had a half a drink.
Wow.
Wow.
I think I might do a shot.
Wow. Go ahead, do a shot.
Hmm. Mm.
Do a shot, do a shot.
Do you think I should make our second drink yet,
You might want to
or
make
not
it.
yet?
We're gonna start in 5 minutes or so. So it might be good. V Cox RN, hello. How are you? As you can see, we are still on our getting started stream. We figured we would just kind of have the audio open while we wait to get the last few pieces put together and ready to start around 10 o'clock. Have some
And while I
discussion.
make our drinks.
Well, I manifest drinks by just sitting in my chair.
Mm.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
God, I should have started drinking earlier.
I gave you a warning. I told you exactly when.
Well, I can't help it. I get distracted. I was watching murder shows.
Mm-hmm. All the murder shows you watch, and I'm the one that knows what to do with the body.
Can we say TV channels on here?
Yeah.
Or, well, I'm an ID addict. What the hell was that?
When was the last time you watched ID?
15 minutes ago.
Oh, we have it now again?
We've had it for like 6 months. You knew that.
Why
So
do
I
I
was
not
really
remember
mad.
that?
I was so pissed. ID is like one of the only channels I watch. And our cable company went through contract negotiations, and I was without it for 13 months. I was mad 'cause 9 miles away in my building, in my workplace, we had ID.
Oh, I never even really noticed it was gone because I'm always in the hotel and all the hotels had it.
God, it's hot in here.
It is hot in here. The drinking is not going to make it any cooler.
Let me go get our drinks. Oh, you're still working on that one. Is
Mm-mm.
this empty?
No,
Oh, jeez. Yes, it is.
it is
It's good.
not. It's half full. Don't you
Good.
fucking go anywhere. Come back here.
First of all, the only curse that gets done to me is magically, and I wouldn't recommend it.
You don't even know there's already a curse there. Hmm.
Well, I do have Native American protection beads.
I don't. Yeah. Haha. I don't. Have my tarot stream set up because I've been working at my stream desk here, but I think I might do some tarot later. I'm not sure.
What's tarot?
No tarot.
Do you want ice at all or no?
A little bit's fine, but you have 3.5 minutes. I don't do late.
I arrive neither late nor early, but exactly when intended.
So you mean you choose to be late to things? That's great.
Oh, somebody put a battery charger on my freezer.
Mm-hmm. Surprised you knew what a battery was.
Oh, I use batteries for certain things.
I know you do. Dear God, help me. 2.5 minutes. I don't know why, but I kind of like the whole chatting beforehand
I
uh,
really like this.
because it makes you sound dumb.
Well, that's not very nice. A little extra shot of Flat in here in this drink.
Go for it. Do me a favor. Oh my God. Uh,
Give you a double.
we
Hey, Jake.
have some pretty good uh, information on our witch tonight that we are reviewing, and what one of the things we are dear God, one of the things that we are working on is trying to get and hoping that we can get some of our local witch friends in the area to participate in some of our discussions and streams and have some, not just, historical witches specifically, but have some more of our local witches that we work with and that we know come on and share some things and have some discussions, which I think would be pretty cool. So that'll be fun. Hoping that that can work out. Um,
That would really
and
be cool.
yeah, and doing some rework in this room and turning it into a better stream area, hopefully, so that we can focus on doing a couple of things. But regardless, um, not sure what we're gonna do after the witch history lesson though. Whether it's
Forest.
tarot or phasmophobia or the forest, probably. Which is such an old game that not a single person is going to be looking on Twitch for the forest. However, we can do whatever the fuck we want, so that's what we'll do. Yeah, fun times. I've also been writing some short research articles that have been nice in one of the discords that I mod in, and I want to copy some of those over because they're fun, and I like them, and they're fun. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is correct. Ooh, the Chihuahua wants some.
Yeah, she likes beer and coffee
All
and
right.
vape.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and get started. Are you ready? Ooh, wrong thing up, too. Look at that. I wasn't even ready. There we are. Woohoo. Why are you turning your head? Look at the screen.
I am. Hello. Cheers.
Oh my god.
Welcome.
I'm really hoping everybody can see my eyes rolling and all the way through the back of my head. Because that's just what it is. But anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Drunk Witchery with Rook and Salon. We are bringing to you some fun and fascination from A to Z historical and modern of history, historical and modern
No more
history
voodoo.
of all things witches. I've been sitting in this chair since 6 a.m. Shut up. Of all things witches, witchy, wacky, and weird, I am Salon Natalwin, self-described pagan and tarot crystal hoarder, among other things, apparently. And I am here with Rook Tempest.
Hey, I'm Rook. I'm from Texas. I was raised by a conservative Southern Baptist family. It was hell. I began my spiritual awakening a couple years ago when Mystic, my husband, introduced me to Wicca. I'm definitely more love and light, but appreciate the necessary darkness. After all, a witch that can't hex can't heal.
My first thought is I don't know how it's living hail because hail is ice that forms into clouds and drops onto you. So that is great that you had living hail. I would love you to describe that at some point.
It does hail in Texas too.
So we are planning to have a bit of fun, lighthearted discussion about some witch things throughout history while getting a little warm under the whiskey lights. We will be bringing this to you every Friday at 10 p.m. We are alternating between historical and modern witches, so that's kind of fun. Throughout the times, through the stream, we invite you to please share any thoughts, ideas, knowledge, facts, anything you want. Um, we would love to hear that, and probably won't actually end the stream. Specifically, after the witch history, we'll be doing some other things. So, I will tell you, I see where somebody in chat that's VCox is saying she can't hear us. However, I don't honestly know what I could check to change that because we are already hitting the yellow in our inputs. And from our side, it's crystal clear. So I'll keep looking at that to kind of see if there's something that I can adjust. But I probably can't adjust it up any higher. So, um, and when I play back the stream, well, actually, let me try that just for the heck of it. I am going to play back the stream through our website to see what I hear. Oh, it's crystal clear, and here sounds right on target. So you may want to check a setting. I'm not sure, but we're getting full playback through the website as a viewer. So um, let's go ahead and get started. I think I don't know if you want to jump right into your witch, or is there any topic or anything that you wanted to talk about first?
I have a question. Did you hex me for raw? I smell garlic, all like really strong.
I'm so sorry. That's weird. No.
Okay. No, that was it. Hey, everybody. This week, I did a little research for our modern witch. I like the modern, he likes the old heifers. But the Matt Aron. So, who is Matt Aron? Well, he's a
Okay, hold
witch.
on one second, Rook. I'm gonna stop you only because it seems like my sound is pretty good, but you are a little muffled behind. So I'm gonna
Is
move.
that better?
I'm gonna move you up a little bit. Say something else.
Matt Oren is our modern witch this week.
Still pretty quiet. Let me make one other adjustment.
Is it on my end
No,
or your end?
no, it's my end. Okay, so I've made some adjustments that hopefully will help. Um, Go ahead and I guess we can go ahead and start because we are now live and recording.
All right. So this week, I decided to do a little research on Matt Oren. And who is he? He's a witch, an author, a professional psychic, and an occult teacher. Um, he's actually been drawn to the occult since a very young age, reading books on witchcraft at the age of 8. He is an initiate of the Black Rose tradition of witchcraft, the Cabot tradition of witchcraft, and the Temple of Witchcraft. He is currently a high priest in the Sacred Fires, sorry, tradition of witchcraft. Sorry. He's studied under some pretty famous modern witches or occult people, such as Christopher Pinzak, Laurie Cabot, Devin Hunter, Storm Fairy-Wolf, Chaz Bogan, and Jason Miller. He is a devotee of the Covenant of Hecate formed by Sarita de Este. He is an author, like I said, but he actually only has one book so far, and it's called Psychic Witch, A Guide to Meditation, Magic, and Manifestation. He does run the blog for Puck's Sake on Patheos Pagan, is a content creator for Modern Witch. He has columns in Witches and Pagans magazine and Horns magazine. He's been featured in magazines, radio shows, podcasts, books, anthologies, and other periodicals. You okay over there,
This just got really bright because
Mystic?
Google doesn't have a a dark setting, so it just hit me really fast. Sorry, go ahead.
Being a love and lighter, this next thing I really like. Matt was actually the very first recipient of the Most Supportive Witch Award presented by Witchway Magazine for helping others in witchcraft in the community and going above and beyond to make sure other witches feel like they are not alone. So I like that. Um, his one book, Psychic Witch, A Metaphysical Guide to Meditation, Magic, and Manifestation. In this book, Matt reveals his most closely guarded tips, practices, and meditations for unlocking psychic abilities, and elevating witchcraft into new, exciting territory. This is the book, actually. I really want to read it because psychism is something I'm really interested in, and I really struggle with meditation. Um, I'm very high strung, and my job is so focused on 100 things all at once that I don't like to meditate, and I'm trying to learn to like it. So I think this book, this is it, Psychic Witch. I'm not plugging it, but just showing a picture on the subject matter. Um, it has 93 exercises in it, and it's reportedly a groundbreaking book to help your magic and senses reach full potential. Psychic Witch provides everything you need to not only master the perception and manipulation of energy, but also to perform magic anywhere at any time with almost instant results. We'll see. I'm actually going to read the book. I'm very interested, and I will follow up in a later stream. He's only authored one book, but he's actually contributed to several others, such as Intuitive Witchcraft, How to Utilize Intuition to Elevate Your Craft, 2 issues or editions of the Witch's Almanac, issue 39 and 38, The New Aradia, A Witch's Handbook to Magical Resistance, Interview with the Magus, 7 Ages of the Goddess, and Arcane Perfection. He contributes to online columns such as For Puck's Sake,
How how
Modern.
how did I
Oh,
get such a short drink and you've got a big cup full?
It's the same ounceage.
I'm just saying, that's kind of rude.
Measure it out. Well, because you've had four to my one
I have not
also.
had 4.
A beer, cinnamon toast crunch, this one, and
8.
probably another beer before.
Continue.
Thank you. Uh, Matt contributes to several online columns such as For Puck's Sake, Modern Witch, The House of Twigs, and Medium. Um, One thing in researching Matt that I found to be good and grounding, if you will, is that he keeps the basics of the craft close, grounding, casting a circle, even deep breathing, which is another thing I don't particularly care for, but I'm working on it. Feeling that these are not just exercises you do to get to the next thing, but that we build on our foundation. And as we constantly use these tools, we gain a deeper understanding of our magic and ourselves through our journey. Much like the journey of the fool through the world in tarot, when one journey ends, another begins. We don't forget about our lessons in life, we build upon them.
So one of the things that, and don't lose your spot of where you're at, because I want to come back to that, and there's another thing I wanted to come back to too with one of the podcasts with your previous Devin Hunter, that Matt was on that I listened to was really good. Um, but I think one of the things during that podcast, which I'll talk about later, that really resonated with me, and I hate that term because it's used so often. I think it's misused sometimes. People think that resonate. You know, we say something resonates with me. That just means, oh, it sounded good. When you say something resonates to you, if you think of it on an energetic level, it's something that comes into your mind, something that speaks to your soul. It's namaste in a simpler way, right? Which namaste is, my soul greets yours, or my soul knows your soul. That's usually what you're saying with that, and I believe that, and I think hearing you talk about meditation and deep breathing and how you don't like those exercises, I think most people feel that way. Rephrase, not most people, but I know many people that feel that way because they don't really understand or know or have felt yet what it feels like to be on the other side of that meditation. Those that focus on those specific things that Matt talks about, and so many other experienced and long-term pagans or witches talk about when it comes to meditation, it isn't just clearing your mind. Like, you don't just meditate to clear your mind. You meditate so that you can focus all of the energy that is scattered all around you and coming out of you in 10 different ways at work or at life or at school or whatever. You're taking all of those things, and let's say you can think of it like a computer. You have 6 cores on a computer, and each core has a ability to process something. And one is on school, one is on work, one is on waiting for the phone call, one is on remembering to follow up, one is on taking care of a patient. Nursing kind of makes me, it's where I go. Um, and you cut each of those things out one at a time through deep breathing and focusing on the breathing. And when you focus down and cut all those things out, then now you have 6 different outputs all going towards one thing instead of 6 outputs going to 6 different things. So you are six, and that's just a random number I'm picking too, by the way. It takes all of those things and puts them into one channel. So you have 600% more energy focus on one thing, and that's your breathing. Once you get that breathing focus, then you start learning to meditate and change that breathing focus into a connection focus. So, one of the things that I learned early on, probably in my late teens, is I can literally get myself into a meditative state within 10 seconds. When you're listening to a guided meditation, and a lot of guided meditations for us, since we do have a lot of druid friends, and that's probably our biggest, or my biggest influence anyway, um, is you picture yourself accepting the universal energy from your head, then the stars down to your head, and you feel the roots going from your feet down into the earth. When you get to a place where you can meditate quickly and seriously, you see and feel that connection. Um, so once you get that benefit of learning and using the breathing exercise as a way to refocus all of your channels onto that one thing for that moment, and then go through that. And it's also a side effect of mindfulness too. So in your daily work, practicing mindfulness is giving the moment to the person or the thing that's in front of you, right? So if you have
Hmm.
10 things going on in your office, but you have to go to the floor and have a difficult conversation with a staff member, for that 2 minutes, it might not be much, but that's their 2 minutes. When you're with
Yeah.
a patient, and I know both of us have been LPNs on a floor. When we're on a floor, you only have 12 seconds, but that 12 seconds needs to be their 12 seconds. That's really not 12 seconds, more like 5 minutes, if that. But that 5 minutes is their 5 minutes. And you focus on
Yeah.
their needs, their things, their meds, their stuff. And when you get to that point where you know that you tune everything else, you put it on the pegboard or the back burner for that 5 minutes, it's theirs. It makes an impact, and that's the same idea behind meditation to me. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That's one of the things that Matt talked about on the podcast that he was on with Devin. I know they're friends. I don't want to speak for them, but in their back and forth, some of the comments and discussions that they had about the basics is like the basics are the most advanced things you can do, and that just stuck with me. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I appreciate that, and you actually helped me by thinking how we would do to give our attention to a patient or a family member or staff that kind of um, that makes sense to me because that's what I know.
Well,
I'm
mhm.
familiar with that, and I can do that.
And that's what the deep breathing exercise is. It's giving that 5 minutes or that next slot of time is now on your breathing. And that teaches you how to learn that focus on the breathing. Then you switch the breathing focus to your intent or to your spell or to your making an amulet or a sigil or a candle or doing your ritual for that time period. That 5 minutes belongs to that thing that you're doing, your intent basically. So yeah.
Yeah,
And
and that
I was just gonna say I felt that
oh,
way for a long time. It was nice to hear somebody else say it in a different way, and that's one of the things that they had talked about.
and that kind of goes along with what a lot of times people ask Matt. This is in an article I read. What can you or how can someone help open their psychic or magical abilities? And he said, practice, practice, practice meditation. Number two, uh, let your imagination run wild. As human beings, we're taught to think with a rational mind or think rationally, but psychic abilities occur on the alpha brainwaves, which are the same waves that are activated or come into play when we daydream. Um, but with practice, um, daydreaming and meditation comes discernment. So you're not just daydreaming all the time about things that aren't, true necessarily. I mean, you might be,
It's
but you start to realize what's coming from you and what's not coming from you,
right. It's
right?
directed and it's filtering out the white noise. One of the interesting things that has helped me a lot too, and I see in VCox, it really does when you figure it out. I can tell you, I have left work and gone and sat in my car in certain situations to meditate just for a few minutes in order for me to handle certain situations because um, sometimes there's just too much energy all in one spot and you've got to redirect it, and that's what meditation does. And so one of the things I find very helpful, and I just figured I'd share now as a good point since we're talking a bit about it, is binaural beats or frequency music. It is very interesting. Uh, some of the experiences that I have had using specific frequencies of music to meditate, and they work. I have been on a 3 hour plane ride where I literally don't remember any of the time on the plane because I was listening to specific music that was matching what it was that I was feeling and trying to do at the time. Um, but that really important exercise, I hate that they call it exercise and practice, because a lot of people feel like, practicing makes you a beginner, or practicing means that you haven't mastered a subject. I still practice things. Why do you think they call medical practice, nursing practice, law practice? It doesn't mean that you're practicing for the real thing. It means that you are actively engaged in the process and learning to do it better as you go. So, I'm not a big fan of calling it practice or exercise, but that's what people do call it, and that's the ones that's most understood. But I think I will be practicing meditation my entire life. And it's not an hour of sitting in a yoga lotus pose, because A, I'm too fat for that. And my ankles would probably break sitting in the proper lotus position. That's not what it's about. It's about finding your center and what works for you. I cannot lay down and meditate. But when I meditate,
Yeah.
I start moving and I don't notice it, and I start rocking back and forth really hard. I've done it my entire life. Every time I've ever been in a situation I'm uncomfortable in and I need to get myself to a better place, I rock. You will see this. Most people probably don't see it in the chat, but Rook, if you looked back at videos of me in certain situations with people, you'll start seeing me doing this just very lightly.
Oh, like
I do
this.
it every single night when I go to sleep. It's how I go to sleep.
Ooh, that made me throw up.
And that's the thing. It's so different for other people. There's people that will say, like, if I move while I meditate, it ruins it for me. Like, that's what puts me in the meditation mode. So, personal, obviously. Sorry, I didn't mean to kind of take over that, but it's just a really good topic.
No, no, I love it. Um, and it just goes on to say, meditation is so important because it helps you to understand how you think. It helps connect you to you. Um, One of the exercises Matt will often do in workshops he does or leads is pair people up,
Excuse me.
excuse me, and have them play make believe because, from his viewpoint, role play really helps to quiet the rational mind. It satisfies quiets the rational mind because it makes the rational mind think that you're not fully invested in the idea. When your rational mind interrupts your meditation, and it will, um, just in your role play, an example would be to use the phrase, let's just say. So let's just say you have a purple poodle named Margaret. I mean, was an example, and just pretend it. I mean, we can all picture a purple poodle if we close our eyes or whatever. That's not so far-fetched. People have their dogs dyed. I'd love to do one of ours, but
Not gonna
Mystic
happen.
will not allow me. I'd like to dye her pink. So I can picture a purple poodle named Margaret. Um,
There will be no purple poodle named Margaret, but I will share a technique that I was taught that's worked for me. Is this a good time or should I wait?
no, go ahead.
So, one of the techniques that I learned early on in meditation was A, do not try to think of nothing, because human minds are not meant to think about nothing. It doesn't work, and it didn't work for me. I kept trying to, they're like, clear your mind, make it clear. I'm like, have you ever met me or my mind? It doesn't do clear. But I can fucking focus, excuse my language, I can focus on something with intent. I can't multitask either. But that's a whole nother show I'll get into one day. That's a big fight between me and my dad, but whatever. Um, but so what I started doing was, counting, and people are like, oh, well, counting, and that's kind of, low base or whatever, but it works. I never make it to number two. It's just one. It literally, I get into a meditative state from the number one. And what I do is I picture it in a color. A new color each time, doesn't matter. And you describe each element of that number one. Or you describe the sensation of pressure. That has also worked really well for me. That's actually the one that I learned in grad school for nursing, which is hilarious to
Hmm.
me, because my learning meditation and mindfulness in grad school is probably not something you'd think of in nursing, but and what they did, it was also really helpful, and it really fits into the pagan mindset of, when you sit in your chair, whatever position you're in, you start at your toes and you feel, where's the pressure on my toe, and you think of My left great toe, I can feel the pressure on the floor there, and I feel the second toe, and the third toe, and the fourth toe, and the fifth toe on the right side, and then the left side, the great toe, the second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Do you feel anything on your calves? Do you feel air on your legs? Do you feel your pants resting on your leg? And then do you feel the back of your knees on the chair and the underneath of your thighs? Where are your hands? What pressure do you feel in your hands? There's also in one of the, it's not Usui, I can't remember which one it was, but I did a Reiki training. It was terrible, absolutely horrendous. It was not something I would ever recommend to anybody. Wouldn't do it again because the dude was terrible. But the one thing he did do was a meditation that I really liked, and that was you put your hands together like this, and you just, while your eyes are closed, you feel the pressure between each finger multiple times. You just say, like in your mind, you're like, all right, so I feel the point where my left pinky is pushing on my right pinky, and I feel where my left ring finger is on my right ring finger, my left middle finger is on my right middle finger, and then you describe the amount of pressure. There's more pressure between my two ring fingers than my pinky finger, so then you try to balance all the pressures out. By the time you get done with that, if you're not ready to get into a different mindset, or you haven't gotten frustrated and punched a hole in the wall, one of the two is going to happen. So that was just another version of that pressure type of meditation. Like right now, if I were to start describing to you the pressures I feel within less than 30 seconds, I would be in my probably gamma to delta brainwave situation, which is where meditation really occurs. Now, throw in some of the right frequency binaural beats, I'm out. Like it's like a light bulb. It's just that's it. But I'm telling you, there is no synthetic or natural drug that has had me tripping in my mind more than the right binaural beats at the right time with the right imagery in my own head. I have literally been transported to like other realities by listening to the right music and meditating properly and getting into that zone. It's crazy. Back to Matt Oren.
When you were talking about those toes, was that your left or my left?
That was my left. Or your left if you're doing the meditation. Now, here's another one that might work for you for meditation.
Oh Lord.
This would
Remind me when I'm not buzzed. Tell me, but remind me.
and this is the great thing about meditation. You find what works for you. Get into a comfortable position. Close your eyes and describe what your tattoos look like to you. And not a doll, not an arm, not a mushroom, but the lines. This one has a curved line that goes up. It's got some red underneath it. There's circles on the edge. The left line goes out and around and underneath. Those things will help you get into a mindset that is focused on something other than the life going on around you, because in the end, nothing else matters, right? It's all going to go away. Everything, we're born, we die. And when you get into a meditative state, it separates you from all of the things that you feel like and think you have to pay attention to, and allows you to choose where you want your attention to go. Once you hit that moment, that connection is different. It's a whole different thing.
Now, tattoo meditation, I think I could do. I can
Think about it.
relate to that.
Another way, pick a tarot card on your tattoo deck that you like, or any deck that you like, a tarot card, and you look at it, and you can do this with your eyes open, and it'll start it off, but then you'll have to switch it over to me for it to work for me anyway. It's different for everybody. And you look at that card, and you describe the lines of the card, not its interpretation, not its meaning, but what you actually see. That left line goes up and over, that right line goes down there, that's a colored green line. And by describing those specific things, you are breaking down your focus into something that's a piece of something, and it's almost like you're getting rid of the forest for the tree versus how everybody says you miss the forest for the trees. In meditation, you want the trees. That's what you're going for. You're getting rid of all the big pictures, all of the ins and outs, all of the other things that are going on around you, and you are focusing on that one tree, and that one tree ends up becoming whatever it is you need to work on. And I am telling you, some of the situations I've been in at work, I've gone out to my car and meditated, I've come back in and I have made an absolutely opposite decision of what I would have done if I hadn't done that, and it was the right
Oh,
one. It really changes your thought process.
wow.
It
Yeah.
it is transformative when you experience it meditation in the proper way.
I
And
really
again,
wish.
just to tie it back, and then I'll hand it back to you. Matt talks about that on the podcast a lot. Devin Hunter does too, actually. That's some, and I know, like I said, they're I believe
Devin.
they're friends. They also both look alike, which is probably why you both chose them. Just saying. I know, but really, that's kind of the idea behind it is the nobody's witchcraft, because I do consider myself a witch, although not Wiccan. I'm definitely a little on the darker side, if you can't tell from the way the stream is set up. Although Stitch isn't very dark, but
He's a demon. Stitch is a demon.
Stitch is not a demon. Well, he could be, I guess.
I think he is.
He's an experiment. But let's not get started there yet. I'm not ready to sing Disney. Haven't had enough drinks. Um, but seriously, like the your whole process changes when you really have the ability to focus on the specific things you want, even if it's for that 5 minutes. Anyway, back
Well,
back to Rook.
well, I really only had one more point to make, and that's just from which I think will be really. It was helpful for me, and I haven't even read the book yet. But just that Matt says that it's normal for your mind to wander during meditation. If you notice your mind wandering, then you're doing the process correct, correctly.
I need my Texas translation. Are you saying wonder or wander? Like wa
Like
ah ah ah, stay in alive.
one,
Wander. Okay, just checking.
like your mind's a wandering, like going other places.
Because wondering is different than wandering.
One, well, is it wandering is like it's scattered kind of, and wandering means you're physically going. So one is the mind doing it, and one's the body.
Look, Mississippi will understand this and Texas will understand this, but Virginia does not. Okay? Um, but no, I get what you're saying. I think it's really important. Like to me, and as a beginner person, it makes sense that your mind wanders. But when you really think about it, it's not your mind wandering. It's your mind doing what it's trained to do, which is considering all things that are in your mind. And meditation is designed to consider one thing or nothing, right? And when you get to that
Mm,
clear space, that's when you're able to go back to that one piece and that one thing and that one direction. And again, I have to say these are all my own experiences and things that I've talked about. It's different for everybody, but the other thing that people do in meditation that's terrible, and it comes from and this might actually even be in your training thing that you're doing. When you're learning meditation and your mind wanders, don't get mad at yourself. People often
mm.
will, their mind will start wandering and they'll be like, oh, I just can't do this. It's ridiculous. My mind keeps wandering. I can't figure that. Just go back. I do it all the time when I'm even meditating in my car and playing some music. Music is the key for me for meditation anyway, but you don't get mad at yourself. You just, okay, I'm now thinking about going back inside and I don't want to go back inside. Okay, wait a minute. Let me go back to my breathing. One in, two out. All right. So, and then you just process that information. It's one of the reasons why I think charms and amulets work, because they give us a point to refocus everything on. Crystals, huge crystal fan. I don't honestly truly think that a crystal has the ability to manifest something, but it certainly does have a frequency because all things do. That is a scientific fact. Um, but they certainly, if I see a piece of hematite, it reminds me of magnetic properties, of things that are shiny, of things that are strong, of things that can be magnetic, of things that bring about the balance of the fluid that gives us life, which is our blood. That can be argued in different kinds of fluids. Not going there. That's not this podcast discussion. Um, and it's things like that when you think about all those different pieces or whatever that you think about and that you put together from crystals or whatever the point is. But regardless, I think that's just an important point when you talk about letting your mind wander. If it wanders, just reset it. Just go turn the path back around, get back on.
Well, it's like in this book, it talks about it's like weights at the gym. The weights are the resistance. When your mind's wandering and you refocus on the one thing, it causes your meditation to become stronger. That's what I got out of the book. Research I did. Yeah.
So tell me something else about Matt.
Well, there's not a lot about him. That's what I got on him.
So this is the like one of the things that I'm finding super interesting about us going back and forth week to week. Um, as we learn more about the traditional and modern witches, um, I'm finding or hearing uh, a lot more acceptance into the New Age process and kind of merging of those processes. So I really feel like learning about the new witches is very helpful insofar as the ideas that they have and that they choose, especially if we sign up for like a school or an education or go
Oh, I
to
did.
or go and we'll talk about that, but or going to a like a seminar or something. It's really important to me that we take away what is important and that we don't, for lack of a better term, bastardize their process, but also make sure that we're allowing ourselves to learn it and then apply it to ourselves. So, an example, I'm not going to name the school because we're not talking about it and I'm not a member anymore
Oh,
because of some frustrations that I had. But their focus um, was on making sure that we do things their way.
yeah.
And while I find it important that you take in, and I did take in and learned their way, um, it's not my way. It didn't work for me, and it's not. eh, I, I'll make the point first. The point is, you can't just do whatever works for you that simply. If you're going to learn or experience or drive something, at least give credence to try the method in which you are taught and understand why they do it that way. Then you can make adjustments to it to make it work for you. Does that make sense? And is that like you don't say that or put down somebody else's method, but you also don't just do whatever feels right either. And again, 100% my opinion. The reasoning being sometimes somebody else's methods are better. And it's like this at work, it's like it at home, it's like it in personal life. It's why psychology works. So if somebody teaches you that the circle has to be drawn this way, then believe and understand that it has to be drawn this way for them and that you should experience that way. Then, once you understand it, if it doesn't work for you, you change it. I'm totally going down a rabbit hole right now in my head. The reason I feel like it's important to point that out is that you should never judge somebody else's methods. You should never discount their methods, but you also shouldn't jump into something blindly without trying to understand it first. A good example is a topic that somebody brought up in another stream tonight that we're talking about. I'm just going to bring up the topic, which is demonology, right? And so, demonology is a great topic. I think it's extremely interesting. I perceive it differently than others perceive it. Who perceive it differently than others perceive it, and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. It's not something that I think a person should just jump into as far as whatever they do. However, if you have looked at it and researched it and understand it and had personal experience and researched it, you make your own way. Everybody makes their own path. Everybody should be able to make their own path, but you shouldn't just grab a bushwhacker and blindly, knock everything down on your way down the street. I think is kind of my point. Does that make sense? Like, okay, for example, I think you should talk a little bit about the school that you're working with right now. I'll talk a little bit about mine because I have some weird feelings. Really, Xerxes, toxic. Pretty much. That's true. That's true. It is toxic. Um, but the idea behind it is you should really take the time and energy to express the learning of the situation and the system that you're in. Um, Apply it to your life, and if you need to make adjustments, make them. Right? I am not. It is so weird to me to be like everybody blessed be. Like, yeah, okay, I
Yeah,
don't.
that's fucking weird.
Well, but it's only fucking weird for me because I've been through it, I've experienced it, and I have adjusted the process for myself. I don't get offended if somebody says pray with me or have a blessed Thanksgiving or a blessed holiday, things like that.
I don't like that.
That's because you're a demon.
Well,
Um,
maybe. I hope.
really?
I'm too love and light. I don't know.
Oh
But
dear
yeah.
God. Anyway, um, now I don't even know what my point was. Mm.
I don't think there was.
There is a point. You're gonna have to get me another drink soon because you made yours much larger than mine.
It's the same ounceage.
Please reserve your comments for yourself. Um, but I think the idea behind it is learn and experience something, be willing to adjust it and change it, and just you know, I don't. It's like whether your thoughts and processes are different. Um, do whatever the fuck makes you happy, but don't don't do it chaotically and wildly without any sense of direction. So, for instance, we've both done a couple of different witch schools. I did mostly self studies, and it's going on 25, if not longer, years now. And in that process, that I have learned to really just take it down a notch and be like, that might work for you, not bad, but okay, really don't care. That's not work, doesn't work for me. Um, but our general humanity is in search of an answer to things, right? All the things that we do pretty much can be tied down to either feeling value in ourselves or feeling value in the things that we do. That's why a lot of people value who do you become? What do you do? What do you do? And this is actually a really good reference to Across the Universe. If you've never seen it, great movie. You should watch it.
That's a good movie.
It is a very good movie. And in Across the Universe, in the relatively in the beginning, of course, it is based off of all Beatles songs. Great, great movie. But anyway, in the beginning, one of the guys that's the main character gets really upset and says, "What is it always about? What do you do? It's always about what you do." It's not a we place a lot of energy and a lot of what are you doing?
Nothing.
Not you.
Oh.
This one.
Oh, Mademoiselle ma petite poissette, Astra. Oh, she covering her coochie. Good girl.
Oh my God. Um, excuse me. She was digging in my lap, so we had to move her.
Oh.
She's comfy. But anyway, in the movie, it's so important about what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And so we tie a lot of our livelihood and our things in the world around us to our jobs or to our successes or to the things that we achieve. And in the end, who gives a fuck? We die and we get buried, right? So you can either take that as depression, well, shit, what's there to live for? Or you can take it as the impetus for doing great things. Well, if we're all going to die anyways, might as well make this life fucking awesome, right? Is one better than the other? Well, inherently, we like to think, yes, the positive is going to be the better, but to me, that's not true. It takes both sides to balance that scale. So, when we're looking at all of the things we do from a perspective of our intent or our witchcraft or whatever it is that we do, or however it is that we live, it only makes sense to do that from a place of, I don't want to say acceptance, but a place of understanding. So, the one school that shall remain nameless that we went to was only focused on getting people into their coven and into their group and thinking like them.
Yeah.
Did not work for me.
Right.
The one that you're interested in, granted, from what I understand, and you can talk about it, I'd like to hear more about it because you know more than I do. But it sounds like they do teach a specific path, but that path is really directed at sharing what they know with you and allowing you to drive where that car is going to go. And that to me is a huge difference. Now it doesn't work for me. I don't consider myself Wiccan. I don't consider myself on that path. It's very different for me, but I think that it would be interesting to share some of that stuff, mostly because it connects back to 2 weeks ago when we talked about Devin Hunter, and this week about Matt. So both of them are involved in those some of those witch schools, and I think that would be interesting to share.
Well, yes, and going back to the school that remain nameless, it wasn't only, yes, it does feel very geared towards the whole purpose is to get you to join the coven. But for me, it was just too much female energy. And I'm not just talking about like the pantheons or goddesses studied or just it was just everything was it was too much female. And I love the sacred feminine, but it wasn't a good balance for me, but mainly for that reason. So I needed a little bit more of the male influence, instruction, example, guidance. So this school, I did enroll. I don't know, should I say the name or no? We've already mentioned it, but
You can say the name. The only reason I don't want to mention the other one is because
right.
I have a negative interpretation of
Yeah.
them right now, and I don't think that the other one is a bad school.
No,
I
no,
just
no.
think that they should really focus more on saying, hey, joining us means you want to blah blah blah, become part of our coven and think our thinks, think our thoughts.
Sure, thanks.
It's
Thunk our
very
thump.
regimented in a way that witchcraft just wasn't designed for me. Witchcraft isn't about agreeing with people, and it's not all Wiccan. So if it's a Wiccan based strategy and a process for you, and that's what you want, great. It's great for you. Do it. But be honest about it up front. And then don't turn it into a fucking social media frenzy versus an actual school.
Well, the thing that turned me off from it, and it's, I think, a lot of good people at that school.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
A
Met so many
lot,
great people.
so many awesome people, but was when we had to do as part of our studies every week, deity focus, and where we had to research and find aspects and offerings appropriate to the deities. And when the feedback was like, well, that's not what that's about, I was like, okay, how can you tell me what my weekly focus and experience was with this deity? And I didn't,
I had the same
that didn't
issues.
resonate with me.
I had the same issues, really because I mean, again, my the first time I the first, and this is probably a separate stream. I'd love to talk about my beginnings, because I'm in total Virgo selfish mode at the moment, which is kind of our thing at some point. But the first dabbling I ever got was at 15ish, 14, 15, with a friend of mine who Drama, 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 comma, drama, comma, comma, drama, drama later would be a story you would think was completely made up, but it's true. But anyway, those that particular individual that I was friends with in high school, well, actually middle school, but um, and we made ants out of clay, which is another story too that was really funny. But anyway, she's a lesbian ultimately, which is funny. Finding out 5 years later we were both gay, really close friends, all through high school and middle school and high school, and her girlfriend at the time was very Wiccan. But granted, it was commercial Wiccan because it was cool to be goth and Wiccan. That was our group. So that's kind of how I got into it initially. But then, right out of high school, maybe I would say 10th, 11th grade, and in 12th grade, I met a self described gypsy. And I say that because she called herself that. I know there's some negative connotations and some word issues with that. I don't know enough about it to make a decision or to determine whether it's appropriate or not to call somebody a gypsy. I just don't. But she called herself that, and she taught me so much about what it means to be a person of spirit versus a person of faith. Difference being, faith is believing in something that you can't see. Spirit is believing in something that we know exists, but we just can't necessarily explain it. We can get to a whole discussion about that. But anyway, all those processes and me learning, I never did any formal teaching on that. She taught me tarot. She taught me how to make candles. She taught me how to, um, you know, connect with goddess. She taught me how to do meditation, and all of these things. And I kind of grew that stuff in my own path, in my own way. Then dropped out of it for a while, and then got back into it. But the school that we shall remain nameless really focused on getting you to follow their process, and that just did not speak to me whatsoever. Um, and there was no specific moment up until the platform switched, and it became more about socializing versus actually spending time learning about something. Um, and as a Virgo, learning about something in a structured manner is of utmost importance to me. So I switched to a different school that allows me to take the classes that I want to take about the topics I want to take, um, and that's been very helpful. Um, but anyway, so I think it's important that you do share what your experience is so far and what you've learned about the school, mostly because it connects to both of the last two modern witches that you've talked about.
Yeah, I do think it's really neat because they you don't come in, like being recruited for a coven, but you can if you want to at the end. But it's all about taking the classes and growing and taking what you need from it. And if you want to go further, you can. So I'm enrolled in the Black Rose school, and then after that, if it continues like it is, what I really want to go into is the Sacred Fires, which is Devin Hunter's tradition or school. Um, but there's several guys that created Black Rose: Devin Hunter, Chaz Bogan. Oh, Storm. No, I don't want to say the wrong name.
You can
But
look it up, but before you go any further, can you just separate a little bit about the three? I think it's three different paths. Like there's
yeah,
one
well,
that's a
it's
joint
four.
path, and then it's kind of splits.
So it's Fairy, Dianic, Wicca, and Conjure is are the four paths the school draws from. So I thought that was really interesting to have those four traditions.
But what about the ones the actual school does? Like you have to take one first, and that's like a combination of the two other paths, right? I think is it Black Rose is
Yeah,
kind of
that's
the
what
is the
you got to do
mix, and then
first.
the fire. What is it?
So then after Black Rose, you can either go to Blue Fairy or you can go to Sacred Fires. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and see, I think that's neat. I get that when and because I feel the same way. I want to design and make a organized system of things that people could learn my path. Um, but it just seems like to me, in the couple of things that I've seen you do, and from what I've heard on the podcast from Devin, and from the book by Matt, and his discussion with Devin on the podcast, which is great because it sounds like we're talking about them and we know them, but we have no clue. We've never talked to them before. It's great. We're making this shit up. I'm just kidding. But it sounds like from hearing them and from talking to them, there's no push to believe or do what they do. They're
No.
sharing their information with you. You can decide what to do with it and how to implement it. And that to me is what makes witchcraft as a craft amazing. Now, when you get into the different paths and degrees, to me, you're talking a little bit more about religion, which is that structured, ordered, rule based system. I just can't do that. It's not in me. It's why I am always considering myself pagan before I can say any type of direction, because God, I will walk into something and completely just change my path. Like today, I could learn something new and be like, okay, going left. And then I'll go left for a while and be blah, blah, blah. Okay, going right, or whatever. It just completely changes for me. But that probably comes from, I say 25 because it's the easiest number, but 25 years plus of having to figure my way out because there was no system. And I don't believe in the Wiccan Rede the way it's written. I don't believe in the threefold law the way it's written, because that's religion for me. And I am not going to be told that if I do this to you, I get threefold back. No, honey. If you murder my child, should I have had a child, but if you murder my child, I will not feel guilty for killing you. If you molest my child, I won't feel guilty for cutting your penis off. Just won't. And I don't give a shit about the threefold law when it comes to that kind of stuff. So for me, it's difficult, but I also have been a part of that process, right? And I understand why that makes sense. And I do understand that maybe a better person would agree that you shouldn't do those things, or the eye for an eye. If you do an eye for an eye, everybody goes blind. But at some point, there has to be a balance to the scale. So I've taken the method of kind of, eccentrically putting my own things together. But it is, again, one of the things that I liked about the listening to the two gentlemen talk about on the podcast, um, about why and how they do stuff, and that their method for it isn't to indoctrinate as much as it is to share and have you make things that work for you. It truly seems like, of course, they want to make money because they've got to. That's what they're doing. They're getting paid for their appearances and their books and all that stuff. I mean, life. You don't exist without making money. There's just no way around that. But it didn't really seem or feel like that was their priority, because if it was, they could probably charge a lot more than they do.
Right. No, it doesn't seem like that. It's really about, so far, just you go through the lessons, you take what you need. If you decide to go further, great. If not, it's not they don't haven't even really pushed the Covenant tradition. I mean, it's all about get through this first. If you like it, great. If not, take what you like, and you know, no no pressure. I like that.
Yeah.
And I like the way it's set up. You do have a written lesson to study, MP3s. It could be exercises. Some weeks you got rituals to do. You have to do a couple of respond and create and respond to a couple of posts, but it's really I don't feel any pressure at all. I like it. And I like the having more male energy. It's just the being all of one thing I don't think is good. I think you got to have balance. I don't want to totally disregard uh, feminine parts of it, but as a guy, I think, more guy stuff,
So here's
more twitches,
here's a
dude
con
witches.
here's a concept that
I
has
like
come up to
witches.
me a lot in the past. There's two things that I want to talk about, and I would like to pen these for topics for future discussions.
Pin it.
Pen it, okay? So you need to write this shit down.
Wait a minute.
So the one, I'm just kidding. You don't have to write it down. The one topic is um, obvious. Well, not. I guess I said not obviously, but as a gay man, a lot of my childhood has been designed around proving that I am not feminine. At almost 40 years old, I really don't give a fuck anymore. I've learned enough that that's not important. However, for so many years, it's been a huge focus of mine to be more masculine. Obviously, now I really don't care as much. uh, Whatever. Don't care. Don't give a shit. But it has affected my witchcraft. Because for a long time I was completely averted to celebrating any feminine deity. Because
Not Caradwin.
all of them, because I wanted the masculine. I am not
Yeah.
feminine. I am masculine. I want to search the masculine. And I literally cut out the feminine side of my growth, and I got called on it. Had to make some corrections. I mean, I was clearly called on it to a point where I was basically told, "Yeah, you're gonna completely fuck everything up if you don't chill the fuck out." So, and you learn that stuff. It's not about there is no. I mean, there's polarity in order to get a human to understand something, which is something I needed, but it's not that you cannot cut out one side for the other. That's part one. Part two is when you're balancing something, when you're looking at the balance of polarity. You have the North Pole and the South Pole, for example. You have the summer and the winter. You have the spring and the fall, east and the west, north and south. So you can put all these things together and they have polarities, but we forget every single footstep in between. If you walk from north to south, there are spots between those two end pieces, those two balances. If you have 1 pound on this side and you have 1 pound on this side, um, they're balanced. But if you have a half a pound and a half a pound, they're still balanced. So at what point do you walk those balances together, right? And is balance something that exists over time? I'm getting very metaphysical. I apologize. But it is a thought process, and I'd like to get it written down so it doesn't get forgotten. Of is balance something that can be done over time? So, if right now I'm working with Hecate, do I need to spend an equal amount of time working with Odin to balance out my masculine and feminine? Or if I work with the Green Man, do I need to spend the same amount of time with the Green Woman? Or if I'm working with Ellen of the Ways, do I need to
Ellen.
work with Carnunos for the same amount of time? Is it a time-based thing? So there's all these ideas and things when in the end it really doesn't matter. You work with who you want to work with, but you have to come up with the idea that it's not about balancing so much it is so much as it is about tempering. And I think Rook should understand this. For me, it is temperance is one of the most absolute important right now anyway concepts in my life, because things don't have to be balanced, but I think they have to be tempered. Um, Meaning an active work to either make the thing more by making it less. Think about it. You have 2 pounds of iron, and you temper the iron to make a sword that is much lighter, but much stronger, right? So tempering is adjusting and moving things around so that they are balanced in a way that works for the need of whatever that thing is. Are you making me another one?
So is doing.
Thank you. See, this is how you manifest drinks.
Really? No push.
Too bad we're getting drunk after the witch story.
I know, right?
We need to start earlier. Um, but I think the point is for me is there's so many different ways to consider different policies and different practices, that we have to focus on what we're doing at the time. And when we're looking for balance, do we look for balance now or do we look for balance over time? Um, and you know, I it's been a relatively recent thing where I have actually, and I'd like to say I learned it, but it was really somebody in our circle basically told me to fuck off, much friendlier. Because I am still, I have not got myself just right yet, but I have literally um, obfuscated feminine energy when it comes to witchcraft. I don't want anything to do with female witches. I don't want to do anything with the feminine process. I don't want to do anything with the feminine aspect because I felt like it was making me more feminine, and that was based on the life that I've experienced, wanting to present myself as less feminine because I've categorized myself as over feminine at times, and ultimately that did nothing but hurt me. So it was okay. Apparently he went outside for something. I don't know what for.
Don't you want ice in your drink, damn it?
Bitch, you need to turn that shit off before I mute you. Um,
I'm gonna be one more bitch.
but I agree though. I actually desire the masculine energy in my workings because I feel like it balances me out a little bit more, um, but not to the point where I should completely ignore the feminine side. And that's what I was doing. It wasn't even just ignoring; it was a literal aversion to it, and that was bad. Like you can't avert that entire process, or at least I can't. Um, we definitely are pulling from several different pantheons as well. I mean, I can't even limit it to one. And then um, I think the biggest impact deity wise for me has been Cernunnos and the Green Man. Hence without getting kicked off of what you call it. That's the really the epitome of the practice that I have. Um, is the Green Man and the Crossroads and Ellen of the Ways. A lot of Druidic type practices, obviously Celtic and Old World, but it's really been important for me to try to find a better balance, um, and an active balance at that. And one of the things that I've learned about with a lot of modern witches that I've met is too hyper focused on the spells and the rituals and the specific deity versus you're just trying to be better connected and more aligned with what is right in my life. And it's been a hard transition sometimes. Um, I do try or am trying to get involved in a lot of different things, just in general, to broaden my processes and my thoughts. Um, and this is one of the fruits of that labor is, um, streaming to have the discussions and hoping that either now or eventually enough people in the chat, or if anybody, by the way, would like to join the video call on Discord or just sound wise, you are more than welcome. Would love to have those discussions. Completely open to that. Because what I'm really looking for just in my life in general is the challenge to the things that we believe and know so that we can grow them and learn something new. So, anybody who ever wants to hop on, just make the comment and we will bring you right into the discussion. Because this isn't for us. It's really, well, that's a lie. It's definitely for us. But it's more for allowing the openness of the discussion and actually reaching out and you know learning something new, doing something different, making a change in how we process things. So, just to take it back a little bit for a second um, to Matt, the discussion topic, I find it very interesting how many people are really hyper focused on, um, getting their message out there. And I like to talk about how I feel about things, but I like even more to hear about what other people think about those thoughts or challenges to those thoughts, because that's really where you make progress in learning and doing things. So, yeah, the more you cannot have alcohol, honey. The Chihuahua wants some alcohol. Nope, you cannot. It is not okay, Ma. So, again, like I said, if anybody ever is willing or comfortable at any given moment to hop into the stream, just let me know. We will bring you on because that would be fun. Ma, she really wants my drink. I don't know if we're just not interesting enough, but every time I put Ma Petite on, our like viewer count goes up by 3. And when she goes back down, it drops. Or Stitch. Stitch is, by the way, the most amazing creation that's ever been made on this earth, and he embodies everything about um, family, right? Ohana, and uh, being able to stand up for what you need to stand up for. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're muted.
Oh, I was muted. Yeah, I'm typing. I'm typing. I'm typing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So, I think the witch story part is probably through.
Yeah.
One of the things as we continue on the discussion about the feminine energy focus is probably because most of the people we are associated with are women.
Yeah. The sacred
And,
vagina stories.
yeah, but think about it. You spend hundreds of years when you, as a woman, can't vote.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You spend a long time being suppressed, and I'm not saying it's even ended yet, obviously. There's changes, it's coming. We still haven't.
We have a female VP. Whoop, 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 whoop.
We still have never had a female president.
We will.
For how many are we in now? 46?
Yeah. In 4 years.
Yeah. But regardless, it's 2020, almost 2021, and we
Yeah.
have not had a female frickin' president. It is so hard. So when you take any group of people that identify together and have them suppressed for such a long time, we don't see it because we're not in. It doesn't directly affect us, by the way. I will repeat that. It doesn't directly affect us.
What are you saying doesn't affect us? I'm sorry, I'm typing.
Um, good age, V Cox. I have to be careful. I'm trying not to call you by your name because I know it. V Cox. Absolutely, we'll talk more about schools in just a few minutes, and it's so cool because me and you started practicing about the same time. By the way, I would say 15 because I believe I was in 10th grade. It was like 96, 95, 96, so 25, 26 years, 24, 25 years, something like that. But anyway, so we're going to come back to that because I think that's a really good topic. Um, but, my theory on, for me, rejecting the feminine, and I'm telling you, it wasn't just focusing on masculine. I had to dive deep. I was literally rejecting the feminine. Just rejecting it flat out, rejecting the feminine. I refused to work with feminine deities because it made me more feminine as a person, because I viewed feminine as weak and as a wrong thing for me to do. It is clearly obvious that that is something that is ingrained in our culture. There is no reason or expectation that I should ever have had to think that being feminine was weak, other than being a gay man that is seen as feminine is a bad thing, right? So if we take all of that out, I started allowing myself to work with feminine deities. Guess what happened? I brought more masculine deities into my group. I started working with Dionysus. And I don't know how many people work with Dionysus, but to be honest, very uh, agendered, non binary deity. I don't care if they consider it a male deity, that is a non binary deity to me. And so I started learning and working on things that were separated out a little bit more, and I became less and less and less and less concerned about the gender of a deity who didn't have a gender to begin with, to be honest. Um, and starting working on myself as a whole person, not a feminine versus masculine, an us versus them, a above versus below. It became an integrated process. So yes, there is a sexual component to working with masculine deities, no doubt, been there. But you have to allow yourself to be able to understand and work with both, uh, because it really does lock you out of a lot of things, in my experience. So
Yeah, you can take it too far though and be like, oh, "Arr." And it's like, ooh,
well,
okay, back off a little bit.
just
But
remember the masculine and feminine attributes that we apply to deities are human created, not deity created.
right, they probably are sexless.
Yeah, we gave the
Yeah,
masculine and feminine to them. They already were what they were. Again, I'm
which is
talking
everything and nothing.
basically, but I mean
Okay.
more so than that though. You have to human beings have to be able to categorize things in order to understand or use them in general. So yes, Dionysus is considered a male aspect because that allows us to view him as a strength, as a certain type of male characteristic, and Hecate is a certain type of female characteristic. But tell me what you think of when you think of Hecate without Google.
What about Pele?
Let's go with Hecate.
Pele,
Hecate.
the fire goddess.
All right, let's do Pele the fire goddess. Tell me about Pele the fire goddess.
I don't know a lot of her.
What do you know?
That's about it.
All right, so let's think about it. Pele, the fire goddess.
Passion.
Mm-hmm. Is passion a desirable characteristic in a woman?
Well, now it should be.
What else do you think about a fire goddess? I will guarantee you. Oh, let me not guarantee, because I think we are absolutely moving in the right direction. I don't care what anybody says about current status, whatever politics. We're moving in the right direction because the roaches are now visible. Um, and I don't mean that politically. I mean
Right.
that um, and we are exposing the failures of all sides, not one or the other, all sides. When you think of a fire goddess, the first thing you thought of was passion, because of what? There's an easy answer, and it's not. It's easy.
Well, fire.
Fire. Yeah. So, um,
Hello. Yeah, fire. Fire is
so
good.
let's talk about passion, right?
Talk it, honey. Talk it.
Let me just make one comment out of the discussion that I had last week of Lydia Gilbert. What was one of the charges that Lydia Gilbert was brought up on?
Well, that people didn't like her,
What else?
and that things happened to people, or that she didn't have a. She wasn't warm. She wasn't.
She was what? She was assertive.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Assertive, not necessarily passionate, but assertive generally means you're putting your passion out there. Like, I am going to say what I feel. So, a woman was hung as a witch because she was assertive, because she was passionate about something she cared about. She wasn't feminine enough to desire or to do that thing. Yet a man can have a crime of passion and they have a reduced sentence. So
Right.
the thing is our social constructs absolutely change our perception of what deities are, and so we should never assign deities human constructs without at least knowing that they're human constructs. That's the piece for me. It's okay to do it, but know it. I am going to assign the green woman feminine characteristics. Are those feminine characteristics weak bodied?
But isn't she kind of
Hold on.
wild though?
Hold on. Weak bodied, um, emotional, and sensitive? Or are those feminine characteristics the ability to bear a child, the ability to manage a pain that no man can understand,
That's for sure.
the ability to bring new life into the world and provide it food from their body, right?
Got milk?
Those three feminine characteristics are certainly not weak characteristics,
Oh,
right? So humanity and human beings assign weak characteristics to feminine things and masculine characteristics to male things. And that is one of the reasons why I was so against feminine deities. It's why I focused so hard on masculine deities because I needed to be stronger. I needed to be more masculine. I needed to do more guy stuff. I can fucking rebuild an engine from the ground up, right?
fuck yeah, bro.
Fuck yeah, bro. That's considered a masculine thing. Why? Guess what? My sister can too. We did it together. So why do we have so much pressure put on having a masculine or a feminine deity? It is not spiritual, that I can guarantee you. So as I grew in my 25 years of practice, I have learned in that time frame that male and female are not polars. They are equals. There is a huge difference in that. And it's not even equal. They are complementary. When you have two magnets, they each have a north and south pole. You push them together, they push apart, right? The north pushes the north, south pushes the south. They separate. You flip them, they pull together. They are complementary. So when you start learning that your whole deities aren't masculine and feminine, male and female, left and right, um, they're complementary. It's the same. I don't even want to get into politics, but um, the that's funny. You can't. I can rebuild an engine, and I actually have done it. Um, so I guess the ultimate point really is to me for when it comes down to that. Um, hold on one second. Let me check this out real quick. Let's see what happened here.
What did it tell? I didn't post no links.
No, don't
I
worry.
was giving hearts.
You probably attempted to do a link.
No, I put hearts.
Okay, Streamlabs timed somebody out. I just wanted to double check and make sure it was okay. It was appropriate. Okay, so um, I guess my thought processes on this, and then I'll go back to a couple of the chat comments because they were pretty good. Is if we stop thinking about masculine and feminine, rephrase. If I stop thinking about masculine and feminine as polars, opposites and more as complementaries, right? It becomes a lot easier to work towards a whole practice and a whole person. That's a big deal, right? I can't think of anything more masculine when you're considering masculine as a human applied trait of strength than pushing. For a better phrase from a movie, can't find one. Something the size of a watermelon out something the size of a lemon.
Good God, I just shoot myself.
There is no strength better than that. There's no strength better than a mother's desire to protect her child. So when you go through all those things and you start thinking about things less in terms of polarities, because we are binary people, we are polarity people, right? And think of it more as complementary, as not as in you're opposite me, but you complement me. I need you to be the other side of what I'm doing. And it has nothing to do whether you have a penis or a vulva. I'm trying to be anatomically correct there for the nursing peep. Um, it makes more sense, right? So I don't feel that's one of the reasons why I got the Ellen of the Ways tattoo on my back, because Ellen has my back more than the Green Man ever does. You know, granted, it does help us work through these processes by thinking of different things as we go, right? It's easier to categorize the polarities of one versus the other, left versus right, but you can't. I mean, if you go left forever, you'll eventually end up to the place that was to the right. Where are you going? Are you going to the bathroom? Hurry up. I have to pee. Sorry. But yeah, I think the real point for me there when it goes to the whole masculine feminine deity is I focus so hard on the masculine part, pun intended. Um, it didn't work. uh, but yeah, so and we're all still learning. And I do want to go back to the discussion about schools too, because there are some really important things that I've learned in the last couple of years. Um, Going back to V. Cox's comment about the different things and learning, I learned everything on my own up until about like a year ago. And that last year, living in Florida, I met a couple of people through the Unitarian Church that really have held me accountable, but also been comforting. I learned so much from them. There's no school that ever could provide that kind of education. So that was really nice. Um, and just a couple of different things. But I am going to kind of give it a stall until Rook gets back here. Um, but yeah, Tyler, you really need to learn how to change your oil, my friend. Yeah.
No, he doesn't. They have places for that.
Okay. Just because you know how to do it doesn't mean you have to do it every time.
They have places to do that.
All right. You're gonna have to take Mon Petite for a minute. Do you want her?
Come on, Ma.
Hold on. No, ma. Come on.
Mademoiselle, ma petite poissette.
This is by far the most spoiled animal you will ever see anywhere. You see that?
No. She'll growl. She'll growl if you
Here.
put her down.
I will be right back.
Come on, Mama. Oh. Come on, Mama. Oh, yeah. Come sit here. Come sit here. So this little girl, she's about a year and a half. I, we have two bigger dogs, two Samoyeds. We've had them for a lot of years. They have two coats of hair. They shed every, they shed every freaking day. So I wanted originally a Pomeranian. I just wanted a small dog. But I got my petite, and she has two. I went to take her for her checkup to get cleared for to be spayed, and they found she had two really big heart defects, so they couldn't do surgery. And I said, well, I'm not gonna get her spayed because I'm not gonna put her heart under any stress. So this is our little heart baby warrior, and she has to take medicine twice a day, at Atenolol, but you never know she had any problems. She's really sweet, and she is definitely a diva, and she's definitely spoiled. Say, but that's okay, huh? That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you give warm kisses. So what you were talking about?
It's really not that hard to change your oil, by the way.
Yeah, but who wants to do that?
It's actually fun. Like when you learn how to do stuff like that, just like making your own candles that first time, it's like, holy shit, I actually can do this. Before I forget, by the way, I'll be in Toledo in January. Just pointing that out. Go ahead. What were you saying? Now you're not going to talk? I'll be flying into Detroit. Uh, when will I be going to Detroit? I think January 11th, if I'm not mistaken. Fucking A. That's too cold. That's too cold.
Yeah, that's cold. Oh,
I wish I could get my other baby in stream. She's on the
oh,
floor, but she's also 60 pounds. I'm not picking her up. If she walks over, I'll show her.
oh.
And then our
And
old,
two huge pits. Oh,
yeah,
nothing like the love of animals.
yeah, no kidding.
Nothing like
I
nothing like the
know.
love of animals.
The last time I was in Detroit or Toledo, well, Toledo was in January of 2019, right before COVID, and then they canceled all of our trips. I think I've told you this before, I'm not sure, but I go to Toledo, I fly into Detroit, and then stay in Toledo for 3 nights every
Gee,
uh, every 3 months. It's just been canceled this year because of COVID. So we're scheduled to go back in January. So we have got to connect up. I keep saying that, but it's always been so freaking busy. And I know VCOX knows how busy it can get with the company that I work for. Um, they're freaking nuts. I
oh, Cox knows you.
I know
Knows your
VCOX.
business. Yay!
Um, Not appropriate at all, but I've been drinking, and I won't put anything out there. But big loss for us. That's all I'll say. Um,
Oh,
So, but yeah, we'll have to hang out, at least go get coffee or something. I don't know. The problem is when I go to Toledo, it's business, right? So, Monday night is pretty much the only night I can choose to do anything. Tuesday night, I have to go dinner at the freaking steam plant. Wednesday night, it's all this, that, and the other. And then Thursday night, it's all this group of people. And then so it's all planned out. So, there's never any actual time to breathe while I'm there. So hopefully I can kind of carve something out this time around. Usually the group that I work with is a pretty good group. So we have a pretty good group. Hopefully I can peel away for 5 minutes. Um, but it's always so busy, and I'm just not good with the politics of large corporations. It's just it doesn't work well for me. But I have to do it, and I just am so uncomfortable all the time looking for an out. Um, but anyway, it's been nice not having to go for a year. So, but unfortunately, COVID. I'd rather COVID end. It is more important.
good
It,
God.
it is more important for COVID to end than it is for me to not go to Toledo.
Shit, man.
So,
This COVID shit is crazy.
um, Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. I think I still have your number, but I'll look at I'll check. Um, I did want to talk for a few minutes more though. What time is it? 11:30. I did want to talk a little bit more about the schools and some of our
Right.
experiences. So right now, I am going to school at a diploma mill, and I call it that because I don't have an expectation of the diploma that I'm getting from them
It's
or
hot in
the
here.
degree that I'm getting from them. So, and what I mean by that is like, I mean, I have a academic master's degree in nursing, and this degree that I'm going for right now is truly just for me. And it's really based on metaphysical studies and learning about some of those things. Rook and I both have been through Reiki master training in different ways. We both have been spending a lot of time. We were involved in one of the schools that we talked about earlier. I'm going to go ahead and mention them by name, only because I'm drunk now and don't really give a shit. And it's not terrible. It's just not. They just took a wrong turn, and that
It's
is,
wonderful people,
yeah.
wonderful people.
So it's the College of the Sacred Mists. It's a Wiccan online college. It's $25 a month, I think. And I'm telling you, the freaking people there are awesome. Um,
Yeah.
I've been treated amazingly. They are so knowledgeable. They're so friendly, but their platform is absolute nightmare. They had an old platform from like the 80s. Uh,
Which worked better.
yeah, which worked better. So it's like the old forum posts, and it was so annoying, and we complained. So they moved it to a Facebook-based system, and it's lost. And maybe they'll do okay with new age people and the new groups that come in for the first time that are introduced to that. But man, I miss the people there. I miss just the discussions and the posts and the comment. It was an amazing place, and they moved it to a social platform, and it is shite. Because the social is now the important aspect. But again, new communities, younger people, it's all about the um, 100% V Cox. Me and you are on the same page. We can go back to that too, but this the Sacred Mists moving to this new platform, being a social focus, it really ruined a lot of what they were doing before. Now, this is the school that we were talking about earlier that is so focused on you becoming part of their coven. That's their goal. Um, they didn't allow for you to believe or, you know, grow into a practice. And I think that's really important. Um, they basically said the threefold law exists and you have to follow the threefold law.
Which I like the idea of the threefold law.
Now, the idea of the threefold law, whole nother podcast, a whole nother discussion, is great. What you do to somebody is going to come back to you threefold.
Right. Don't be a shitty person.
Now, no, hold on. Don't be a shitty person.
Right.
I am telling you, if me and you put that chihuahua down on the ground outside, and our neighbor shoots it,
Well, then they're a shitty person, and they just, yeah,
I don't give a fuck about no goddamn threefold law. They're gonna die, and I'm going to jail.
yeah,
That's not
yeah.
the threefold law. According to the threefold law, I shouldn't do anything to them because it'll come back to me threefold.
Well, they just have to come back to me, because
That's the point. That's the point. And again, there is nothing wrong with the threefold law. That's great, but that to me is religion, not spirituality. And so, V Cox, the same thing that you're mentioning, I am definitely spiritual versus religious. Religious has rules,
no, you
and
can't lick that.
to me, we are not. if a human being is to reach their full potential, we shouldn't have rules. And I will tell you, I'll be completely honest. Um,
Oh,
Obviously,
jeez.
we follow each other on Facebook. There's a lot of things that I've seen that you posted that I don't necessarily agree with. Not that I disagree with them, but I don't necessarily agree with. But it it's always been a positive thing because I can tell from the way that you say things and do things that that's you. You are exactly you on Facebook as you are in a building, as you are in work, as you whatever you do, and
Your
that is so
nicknames.
freaking hard to find, just in general. So to me, being spiritual is admitting that I don't know everything. I'm trying to do the best I can. Um, Nobody's going to walk all over me, but I'm also not just going to be a dick for the hell of it. Those are my four. That's all brand new. Those are my four spiritual tenets. I care about people. I want people to care about me. I'm not going to be a doormat, but I'm also not going to be a dick. We should write that down because I will never remember that.
You should get a tattoo.
I already forgot what it was. I thank God this thing records. That's terrible. We're gonna have to change the drunk witch story to be like the sober witch story with the drunk aftermath. Of course, no comment.
Speaking, who are you doing next week? Do you know?
Who am I doing?
Yeah,
Depends on my mood.
really?
Um,
What witch?
I have planned. Let's see.
You want some water? You need to drink water.
I don't know because the thing is, I have a couple.
Aleister Crowley?
I'm thinking about doing Sybil Leek.
Ooh, she's a good one.
Yeah, but I think that's going to take me more than 1 week to do research. I mean, I've read three of her books. Um, she's amazing in some ways, but I also want to punch her in the face if I ever saw her in spirit. I mean, seriously, she's very cunty in some ways, and that's not cunty in a negative, like a uh, uh, inappropriate, judgmental way. It's like conniving and very capable in ways that I don't understand specifically. So she's gonna be a hard one. I I really I really want to do an in depth on her if I do her next week. So it probably won't be her next week. It'll probably be a little bit later, just because there's so much about her. I also have Lori Cabot. I have
Ooh,
Marie Laveau on my list. I have
ooh.
Silver Ravenwolf for you to do. Um, yeah,
Stormy. Stormy also, Fairy Wolf?
yeah, that's later.
Silver Raven. What? Who? Silver who?
Silver Ravenwolf.
Yeah, I'll do him.
Yeah, she's written a lot of the. There's some politicking around that, by the way. So, um, we talked a little bit about, well, a lot about, actually, a little about Matt Oren,
I know, right?
and a lot about the schools and some personal interpretations of things. So, at this point, we have a couple of options. And I will leave it up to anybody in chat if they have an opinion, please share it. Should we talk more about the metaphysics of spirituality? Um, some
Coochie,
specific
coochie.
deities, or tarot, or video games? all are viable options that I'm considering. So we'll see. Um, I wish we could play some of the clips from the podcast that Matt Arn was on with Devin Hunter, but we cannot. Uh,
My
that
two dudes.
that actually breaks the TOS for Twitch. So there's not much we can do there. Um, and which is sad to me because I would love to do a little bit more. Um, I would love to do some tarot.
Tarot.
Tarot. Um,
Did you hear my petite? She's a witch.
yeah, she is.
She's spoiled. She likes to get rubbed.
I've got hiccups. There are
I'm
no
right.
words for you. I've got hiccups. There are no
She's
words
a human.
Sorry about the duplication of services. My moderator does not know how to moderate.
What?
Huh?
Oh, what?
Nothing. So we are taking applications for a moderator for my channel on every Friday night during the witchery. We are going to change categories.
Category is?
Runway, runway. I hope we don't get DMCA'd. Runway, runway.
What's DNCA?
DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright something thing.
Oh.
All right, so let's
Bring it to the tarot.
do some tarot.
All right. Let me go wash my arm. I'll be right back. My petite licked it. Excuse me, I'll be right back. Come on. Come on, Ma.
So we will open the queue. We will do a couple of tarot readings. I am still working on my process for choosing which tarot readings we will do, but we will wait to Rook to come back. So hurry up, Rook. In the meantime, I am going to make sure my Nightbot is working properly. I don't know why it does this every time. It's already authorized. So tarot, good question. I actually learned tarot from a gypsy. Again, same self-described gypsy when I was in middle to high school. I don't call her that because there are some political and other appropriation issues with the term gypsy. However, she called herself a gypsy. She was definitely a transient person. Learned some amazing things from her. So she was great. And so she basically gave me the deck and said, "Hey, figure this out based on the images." And she literally gave me a card a day to learn. I learned those probably from the ages of 20 to 25. I read the books a little bit. I have no connection to Rider-Waite Tarot. It is terrible for me. I hate the imagery passionately. I just can't stand it. Like, it does nothing for me. So later on, I kind of gave up and didn't do tarot for a while. And then when I restarted, I'd say I'm 39 now. So maybe 8 or 9 years ago when I picked tarot back up, I focused solely on intuitive reading and energy connections. So I don't really look at the book so much for readings. I do understand numerology pretty well, so I do have that focus into it. But most of the reading is intuitive and energy based. I have been told on more than one occasion that I tend to connect very quickly, easily, and strong, and unfortunately, I do have difficulty releasing from those connections, so sometimes I can drain people quite a bit when doing tarot readings. My tarot reading can also get, what's the word? Frantic, I think, for lack of better terms, um, at some points. So it does get a little stressful for some people. I never recommend reading the books. Um, it, and I am seriously going to sound like copying somebody else on this, but it is not been said better, and I've said it before, but one of the gentlemen that I mod for and that I've kind of become friends with recently put it into words much better than I can, and that is when you read the books, you're basically getting the interpretation of that person. And I've always considered myself an intuitive reader, meaning, I read them, I try to connect to it and figure out what it means. If it resonates, great. If it doesn't, nothing I can do about that. So we just run the process and see how it works. Let me see here. Let me get CloudBot open too. Holy shit, that was bright. I don't need to claim an offer for CloudBot. Okay. Alright, so we are now finally officially set up. So if anybody does want a tarot reading, we do have the queue open. I have literally over 200 tarot decks. I do have decks that I prefer to read from. However, I will read from any of them if somebody would so choose. So let me open a list of tarot decks for you. And I will give you the option if you so choose, if we can actually find it. So let's get over here. Streamlabs. Alright, so I'm going to make this a little bit larger. Alright, so as you see, let's see, CIO 7733, thank you for joining. You are the position number 1 tarot queue. We are currently waiting for Rook Tempest to return from whatever he is doing. However, in the meantime, I do have a ton of tarot decks that you can choose from if you would like a reading. So, just as a generic answer or generic statement, my tarot readings are energy-based, intuitive. I do not connect to deities. I do not have clairvoyance or clairsentience at any given moment. Now, there are moments when that does occur, but I am not in control of that at the moment. Meaning, whatever tarot reading that I do for you is based on my interpretation of the cards at the time of the connection that I feel with you. So, feel free to join the queue and we can do some tarot. Right now, again, CIO, you are number 1 in the queue, but we are waiting, aka stalling, for Rook to come back as part of our stream tonight. However, there are a couple of tarot decks that I specifically prefer to use, and that is Steampunk. And I will show these to you so that you can see them. Now, I will tell you, right now, I do not have my tarot stream setup available. Because it's a mess. However, I will show you each card as I pull. So, CIO, I can choose the deck if you prefer me to. Right now, I'm actually working mostly with the Black Tarot, So if that is okay with you, that is the deck I will use. There are 3 decks that I mainly use. That is the Black Tarot, Steampunk Tarot, and the Lightseers Tarot. Those are the 3 that I generally read with. So if any of those pique your fancy, say it. If not, I will pick for you. Rook is back. Look at that. All right, we'll do Black Tarot.
Black Tarot in the house. What's it all about? Pimping out the boys and the girls in the center.
It's a good time for a refill. Y'all watch my skills of manifesting new drinks. It's not working. Yeah, the moon sounds good. But yes, I am a Virgo sun, Virgo moon, and Taurus rising. So if any of you follow astrology, you will clearly recognize my problem with hoarding. So let me see if I can clean this up a little bit. Well, you know what? If I do my tarot stream, then it's going to cut Rook out. And Rook is actually a part of this. So this is our witch story, and I am not cutting him out. So anyway, we will do our tarot right here in our space. If anybody else would like to join the Tarot Queue, please feel free to join. I do want to give you a quick, yeah, I know. I'm telling you, like, my hoarding, I don't know if you can, I'll see if Rook will turn the light on when he gets back, but, I definitely have a problem. So if you want to count the numbers here, these are just my decks, not even Rook's, 126. So, and that's not all of them. So any of these decks are actually available if anybody wants to use one of them. But I do very well with Steampunk. That is literally my best deck. As far as the one I've worked with the most, I have like 5 copies of it just in case something goes wrong. Those of you that do know me, I know there's at least one in here. I fly pretty much every week. And on one of those weeks, it was very stormy at my airport that I was headed to. And unfortunately, yeah, my luggage was returned to me with about 6 inches of water in it, and my Steampunk Tarot by Barbara Moore, one of the best decks ever, for me was ruined. Actually, I still use that deck, but I was very upset. It was about everything that had occurred. So I went out and bought 2 mini decks and 3 large decks just in case they ever go bad or get messed up. So I need those. All right, so CIO, you are currently the only one in queue, so we are going to go ahead and do a reading. Do you want a general reading, or do you have a specific question you'd like me to look into? I am such a terrible hoarder. It's so bad. Well, thank you. Look how I manifested that drink. Ask away.
Your ass is lucky and nice, motherfucker.
Bitch, please, you want that D just as much as anybody else.
Wow, really? We'll give it on.
Nope, I'm busy.
Well, bring it on, bitch.
All right, CIO.
Oh, sorry.
I'd love some insight on this girl I like. We are friends, but act like girlfriends, and I feel like she is holding back. I want to just know how, or I'm sorry, I just want to know what's going on her end, because I think we could be really good together. Okay. Fair question. I like that.
Oh, this is exciting.
hmm And I'm using the Black Tarot. This is a freaking beautiful, by the way, deck by Victoria Eva. I'll show it up just in case anybody's interested. And I'll show each card only because I do have a tarot setup. But right now, that tarot setup, since this is the Witchery podcast, the tarot setup will cut out half of the podcast. And right now, Rook is a part of that. So, um,
Oh, you can cut me out.
nope. I've actually spent some time with Rook on teaching tarot. And while I'm shuffling for CIO, I want to mention how I teach tarot. So I teach tarot in a way that involves a lot of practice, but also not reading the book. Using the things that we know and the things that we understand and numerology and other pieces of information and adjusting how we do what we do. So CIO, I have one question for you, and this is going to be an odd question. I am feeling like I have a special layout that will work for you in this question. However, very weird, but let me ask, do you live in the southern states? So this would be Texas, Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, those areas. Or do you live in the north where it's like nice and cold right now? And thank you, Sam. Oh God, I'll mess that up. Sam Galena 0. Thank you for the follow. Much appreciated.
Galena, thank you.
Woo-woo. And the reason I ask is because there's a specific layout that Rook and I worked on together. Um, that I've enjoyed. Um,
Oh shit.
and I just kind of want to see if I feel like, oh, North Carolina, good state. All right, what part of North Carolina?
All
And no,
right,
I
North Carolina.
do not want to know the city, but just like north, south, east, west. I'm from Southeast Virginia. That's the only reason I'm asking. Trying to find that little connection there.
North Kakalaki.
Stitch is wet. um, Sam, correct me. Sam Galena or Sam Galena, one of the two. Don't see guys reading or doing tarot cards. Okay, a couple things. So true, which is terrible. Um, but glad you are here to watch. So thank you for that. We don't really do too much tarot on our Witch Story night, and we're not doing a lot of streaming lately. So we'd like to do it more often. Our focus has usually been the witch history, but there's no good category to stream that under. And I can't stream it under tarot because that's lying. It's not tarot. And I don't want people to come in and be like, oh, they had tarot on their category and they're not doing tarot at the time. So we do just chatting. And unfortunately, nobody comes in to see much of the witch history that we do, which is amazing. Rook did a little bit of a review on Matt Oren tonight, which was really nice. Last week we did Lydia Gilbert, one of the fifth witch to be executed in the United States. Rephrase, the 13 colonies. So we do a lot of witch history and witch discussion. Would love to have anybody who would like to be on stream to let me know. We do have a Discord as well, so feel free to join the Discord. If you're comfortable enough, we will bring you right on the screen with us and have these discussions because that's what this is about.
We'll do a pop out.
We will pop you right out.
Pop you out.
Pop
Yeah.
you out. Yeah. We will. That sounds absolutely terrible. But it really does. I just don't have any other way to say it. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? Anyway. All right, CIO, I am so sorry. I have really been stalling a bit much. So we're going to go ahead and do your reading here, and we are going to look at some insight when your friend that you're acting like girlfriends with, and you want to know, is she holding back? Is there more going on here? And should you just accept them being friends or not? So, as a reminder, while I pull the cards, this is the Black Tarot. The Black Tarot is a amazingly beautiful deck. I cannot use my tarot setup right now for stream because uh, Thanksgiving and trash. It needs to be cleaned. Basically, I'm terrible. Um, so yeah, let's get this energy rolling
Yeah.
in Raleigh. I am actually from Southeast Virginia, so not too far from Raleigh, but also not too close. All right, so we're going to do what is called the palm spread.
Oh, I like that one.
So the palm spread
I
is a
like
spread
it.
that Rook and I have developed, and basically, it tells me what is the trunk or the seat of your issue, plus what thing from each of the different elements do you need to do to figure out what it is that you're going to go forward with. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to lay out our cards, and then I will show them to you one at a time as we read them, and we will read them and learn them together. Oh, that is. Look, I'm not making it up. I swear. You need to see it before I show it on the I have hiccups.
Hold on.
Stream.
It's they're dark. I can't see. Hold on, I'm coming.
Reach, reach. Don't get the ma petite
Oh.
up. You cannot move the chihuahua. Look at the first card. So we're asking about friends acting like girlfriends.
Oh.
What's the
Okay.
first card?
The lovers.
Yes.
The lovers. Huh. Wow. That's pretty cool.
So in this spread, basically, picture a palm tree. Thank you. I'm not gonna say it right. Rachi or Rashi. Five. Rashi
Thank you,
sounds Arabic.
Rashi.
Uh,
555.
Ratchy. So basically, the palm spread is the spread that we designed so that we can see what is the trunk of the problem, right, or the trunk of the concern, or the trunk of the querent. What is your strength? What is your solid base? And then each of the palms. What are the different elements that are taken in every day that help this grow, right? So for me, tarot is more about what do we have available to us and how can we move forward. So the base of your trunk is the lovers. This is uh, cl- uh, clearly um, a sign or a card that talks about your desire or your ability or your situation um, of looking for love or from feeling love. Does it mean that it's right? No, it just means that it's there. So it's really important to understand as we go through the tarot reading that anything that we do, in my opinion, can be changed. So if things progress the way that they currently are based on the reading, then the outcome will be the same. You, however, now have or will have additional information that might actually bring you to a new conclusion, right? Your choice. So, I want to show the cards just because they're so freaking beautiful. This is the lovers. At first glance, it looks a little morose. However, when we talk about the lovers, we're talking about groups coming together. So there is a feeling of deep love and deep connection with this person. Okay? And the second card in the trunk is the chariot. This leads me to believe that that other person feels the same way. Okay? So in this chariot, if you're familiar with the tarot, this does not look like your normal chariot card, does it? No, it does not.
No.
So what this is showing you, in general, the chariot talks about taking the reins. It's not about the drive. It's not about the journey here. It's about taking control. The road is hard. Look at all of the bumps and ups and downs on that road and that travel. It's not clear, but you're going to get to the end. And you're going to get to the end because you take the reins.
Oh,
So,
get that girl, get that girl.
so as we're taking the trunk of the palm spread, we are saying there's feeling of love and somebody needs to take the reins. So you have two people, both of them not deciding to take control of the situation. Now, let me be honest. If you take control of the situation, it may not turn out the way you want it. But you need to know either way. You cannot go on worried about or concerned about whether or not this person is going to go forward or go backward or choose you or not choose you. You have to decide because you can't move forward without it. So, the love is there. It's time to take the reins. Let's move forward. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the 5 palm fronds. So this palm tree has 5, I don't know why I can't talk, has has 5 fronds. You have air, fire, water, earth, spirit. So each of these fronds is going to tell you, in my experience, what it is you might need to know in order to go to the next step or to move forward in learning what's the next thing for you to do and getting the outcome that you're looking for, right? So the first one is, I cannot see, I am going blind. Page of Cups. Okay. Get this in the video. These cards are too beautiful not to share. Little dark looking, I know. So the Page of Cups, for me, if we look at the traditional meaning, we're looking at a page. The page is kind of the, I don't want to say entry level, but it really is the entry level person to the group. So, in other words, your page is somebody who has their bachelor's degree but hasn't worked in their field of profession. If that is a good example, I don't know if it is or not, but it's how I feel. Right? So you have the information, you have the knowledge, but you may not have actually practiced it, or you may not truly understand all the underpinnings of it, but you have what you need to get there. And pages usually represent people. So there's somebody in your life, and in this instance, we are looking at the air card, which generally is going to represent you. So CIO, what I'm thinking at this point and what I'm feeling is that you are the Page of Cups. You are an emotional person that is, and by emotional person, I don't mean you're an emotional person, but an emotional person in this instance. Right now, you're having a significant emotional response to this person, but you don't know how to handle it. And unfortunately, nobody can decide that for you but you. However, based on the Lovers being the first card that I draw on a love question, which is a good sign if you want to have this relationship, followed by the Chariot telling you to grab the reins and say something. Don't just sit there, take control. And then we follow it with the Page of Cups saying, you've got what it takes already in your hands. You just got to do it. And we are having, by the way, lots of water energy in this reading, too. We'll get to my sign when we're done. Next card that we pulled would be your Fire card. This is not a standard Fire card, though. This is the Hierophant. So, obviously, Hierophant is more of an Earth card, to be honest. But in the Fire position is basically telling me that you have to take the opportunity, I think is the best word, and make a move. So what I'm getting so far is this other person is not going to make or initiate the process or initiate movement.
Mm.
The card that we have in the emotional section, I don't want to show, but it is what it is, and I don't have a choice because I don't pick the cards. Oop,
What
shit,
is that?
dropped it.
Hold on.
I don't pick the cards pick you.
The tower. Is that the tower?
No, it is the devil.
Who is? Oh, the devil. Couldn't see.
So,
The
at,
devil.
at this point, why are you laughing? Anyway, at this point, what we're seeing is we're seeing a solid understanding in our trunk. We know that the love is there. We know that you need to take the reins. We know that you are this cups person who's unsure of your emotional status, and we know that the Hierophant is telling you it's time for you to make the decision. You're going to be the one that has to be the elder. And then we have, I don't know why I keep flipping this card, but the devil. Right? So when people see the devil, they freak out. They think, oh my God, it's the devil. We're going to die. The devil is terrible. Devil is a great card to me. Not
Yeah.
just, really. Not just because of my personal path, but because the devil is a reminder. I thought you were going to say something, Rook. The devil is a reminder.
Oh, that you control it. You can get out. It's your doing.
Right? There you go. That's exactly correct. To me, when the devil shows up, the devil means that you are the person that decides what happens next. You're the deciding factor. Obviously, in a traditional reading, the devil means that you are the person that the chains bind and that you are the person that put the chains there so you can take them off. For
If you
me,
want to.
if you want to, you may like them. I don't know. That's your own thing.
Whips, yeah.
Whips, yeah. Churches,
Chains.
ew. If anybody likes Angel
We love
or Buffy.
Buffy and Angel.
So,
Drusilla.
so, so whenever the devil shows up to me in a reading, especially when we are looking at the water part of the reading, we're talking about the emotion that you choose to make decisions on. So the devil allows you or tells you that it is your turn to decide what your next step is going to be and make it fucking happen. Don't let it happen to you because that's what pussies do, is let things happen to you instead of making the decision yourself to make it happen. The next card, which is fucking amazing to me, I will talk about my Virgo-ness and my double Virgo-ness and my triple Earth-ness later at some point if anybody's interested. But the Wheel of Fortune, I should know my layout here by now. The Wheel of Fortune is your card that's in the Earth section. So of the palm tree, we're looking at all of the fronds. Each frond represents things that you can do to change the outcome that you want, right? Rephrase. Not the outcome you want, the outcome that you need to get where you want to go. Taking in mind that the outcome you need may not be this person. However, everything in this reading that I'm getting so far is going to tell you you're going to the next step. So, anyway, so we have the Wheel of Fortune. In the Black Tarot, the Wheel of Fortune, as in, I guess, most traditional tarots, can be read in multiple different ways. For me, it's a 50-50 card. Earth is about stability, right? Earth creates the land we walk on. It creates the clay we can build houses on. It gives us the material that allows us to build concrete structures. It gives you the material to build a steel skyscraper. So when the Earth section has the Wheel of Fortune in it, your fortune is structured. It's not going to be as great as you want it to be, but you'll still have a good outcome, and it'll be pretty strong. It just may not be exactly what you want it to be. I am so sorry. I just realized the noise that my mic makes when it rubs against my glass.
Sounds like a squirrel. Sounds like a squirrel doing something.
I'm so sorry about that. But anyway. So, we're going to move on to one last card, and this is the Spirit card in the palm layout. That is the Six of Swords. I need to get my tarot stream back up. So, a couple of things I just want to mention about the card itself. So, CIO. The 6, unfortunately, in most aspects of numerology, really represents a negative connotation. And unfortunately, that is designed by numerology that says even numbers are generally negative because they can't be split in half evenly. If you have a 6, yeah, you'll have 3 and 3, but there's no middle point to break them up, right? So the Six of Swords, an air card, really has a foundation of uncertainty. So, and it makes sense because spiritually you may be feeling uncertain, or there's something in you that's making you feel like, this is a good idea. I want to do it. I need to do it. I'm going to do it. And then you're like, no, I can't. I can't. That's the Six of Swords. It's sowing doubt. It's making you not comfortable with the decision that you already have in your head. And that's terrible because, when you commit to something, you should do it, right? And the Six of Swords is basically telling you that 50-50. I don't know what to do here, right? So when I take a look at the whole spread, and I'm going to try to do this, but I'll probably fuck up the whole stream, but I'm going to do it anyway. My stream is a complete mess. However, I want you to see kind of how it's laid out.
Ooh, you're making me sick.
So you have the Lovers, right? We talked about the Lovers and the Chariot being your trunk. So your support system is stable with love and you taking the reins. Then we went to the air card of the Page of Cups, the fire card of the Hierophant, the water card of the Devil, the earth card of the Wheel of Fortune. I know this is all kind of messy because of my keyboard. And then the spirit card of the Six of Swords. So the reason I wanted to point that out is just so you can kind of see what the cards were in the order that they came in. And so it really comes down to answering your question. What should you do? So knowing that love is there, it's your turn to take the reins. You need to be strong in your emotions. You're the teacher of the group. The devil is telling you to make your own changes. The Wheel of Fortune is reminding you that it's your turn to decide. And then ultimately, the Six of Swords, it's reminding you to make sure that your decision, whatever you do, makes sense. I would tell you basically on every level, from everything on the read that I have, you are the only person that's going to make any move. This person will not make any decisions. They're not going to decide to go or make a decision to move forward with you regardless of what you do or what you say. So they're just not capable. So when you consider that, it's not really something you want to be a part of, you know? Oh, the artwork is amazing. Like, I'm telling you, this this is stunning. Seems to feel like she needs to heal from traumatic past because in the past she was always attracted to toxic people and feel like she needs to work on this. So, here's the thing. Tarot, I have a hard time separating tarot from my brain. From the tarot perspective, if you want to be in a relationship with this person, it will only happen if you make the effort. You're going to extend the hand. You're going to reach out to her, and um, it's going to be tumultuous. It's not going to be easy. Um, Now, I will tell you, my relationship was tumultuous in the beginning. It was not easy. It took a lot of work. It was bullshit. It involved some inappropriate behaviors on the other person's behalf. And we've been together for 13 years.
That's
Um,
very true.
I know it's true. I was there. Um, the thing is,
I need my glasses, Ma. Come on. Come on, baby.
the, the how do I say this?
Come on, baby.
From what I see in the tarot, the only way to progress
Fine.
forward is if you make the effort to move forward. The problem is, you've given me additional information, and that additional information makes my nurse emotion and my nurse side want to respond.
Come on. Oh, sorry, baby.
So I'm going to respond from both perspectives. From the tarot perspective, you can manifest anything you fucking want if you want it and you work for it. Period. But from an emotional and a psychological standpoint, if she's had a traumatic past, she does need to heal, but that's not your responsibility. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be there, right? Doesn't mean that just because somebody has a traumatic past that you have to negate it. My my take on this would be, and again, we have exited tarot and entered psychology. My take on that would be, you need to meditate, decide what you want. Is it something that's that important to you? And if it is, and it's a relationship you want to be in, you tell her or him. She. Okay. Tell her. Um, and be willing to put in the effort. Because I'm telling you, as somebody who has a traumatic past, you either decide to go in for the long haul or you don't decide to go in. Okay? There's no halfway uh, through trauma. It's just not possible. So that is what I see in the cards.
Mama.
And at this point, I do wish you the most amazing luck. And I would love to hear how things work out, regardless of what you decide to do. That's what I'm trying to say. Because, you know, there's so much to learn at any given moment about where we're doing things and what we do and how we do things. Tarot can only give us a guidance and some ideas to think about and some alternatives to think about. I will be completely honest at this point, as I should always try to be and will always be. Um, every single person that I know who I love and trust in 2007 told me to walk away from that.
From this?
Mm-hmm. And they were right. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um,
Wow.
and they were wrong because I decided not to walk away. Oh, that's a lie. I actually did date two other people, and never mind. But we're
No, no, please go into it.
Oh, and so did you, and ended up doing what you did on Christmas Eve. Don't think I haven't forgot.
Wow.
You
I have no clue.
Uh-huh, now you wish you would have left it alone, huh? My point is, I know. My point is, um, the tarot can only give us guidance on what we could consider moving forward. Ultimately, it's our decision, and we have so many things that we can do differently, that we can do to change the life or whatever. But they're going to work out the way they want to work out anyway. I'm telling you, there's no way we would have been together based on what we know about each other. And we've been now married for what, 6 years? 20, 10, 10, 14, right?
2014. Yep,
Yeah.
6 years.
So we've been married 6 years and together for 13. And if you know the backstory, you'll be like, there's no fucking way. Ultimately, what it comes down to is and again, tarot is now like relegated to the bottom of this conversation. Sorry, I'm looking for my fucking shit. Um, the ultimate end all be all of life, of doing what we do, of growing, of enjoying
Showing.
being anything, is knowing that we're fucking idiots. All of us. There is no Trumper. There is no radical left. There is no. It, none of that matters because we are all just so freaking fucked up that we do the best we can with what we have. And so when you apply something like the tarot to whatever it is that we're working on or that we're doing, um,
The tarot.
the tarot, um, we use it as insight
Incense is strong.
into what the next step is, right? There's no answer. There's no card deck that's going to give you the answer. I love these cards. They're amazing. I feel really connected with them. I think they're great. I think they give us good insight, but they will not give you the future. There's no such thing. Because the future is decided by the individual and how you respond to the stimulus around you. So if you want to love somebody who doesn't love you, then accept that you're not going to get the love back. I honestly think our relationship has worked out for 13 years because our expectations are different. The things that we enjoy in life are similar, not the same.
Yeah.
You don't like the same things I do, but they're similar. And when we don't do the same things, we do different things.
Yeah.
And we're not mad about it. You don't take two people, two flames and make them into one. Two flames are still two flames. Might be brighter, but it's still just two separate things. You can't expect the other side to be exactly what you want them to be because that's what you want, not what they want, and you can't allow that person to be because you're not in control of them. You accept who you are and you move on. And as soon as you do that, everything falls into place.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Fuck yeah, bro. You know, I don't know why fuck yeah, bro reminds me so much of victory is imminent.
I can see that.
That shouldn't make sense to anybody.
I can see that.
So, I am from Virginia Beach, Virginia. That is my hometown. That's where I lived most of my life, except for Norfolk for a good portion. And me and a friend of mine used to go to the beach and play beach volleyball. And we found this group of uh, poor guys. Navy guys who wanted to play volleyball, and they just were so sure they were going to win. Every time they served, they would scream, "Victory is imminent." And yeah, we beat the tar out of them, but um, just reminds me of that. You know, those I don't know why, but it just reminded me of that. Anyway, I'll put my head down now. Um, Let me read a couple of chats. Um, let's see. So yeah, I know you're scared. I can tell that by your original question. She does need to heal from her past. I was reading that while I was doing the reading. I think the important point here is um, everybody probably needs to heal from a traumatic past because trauma is what the individual experiences, not what we think it is, right? Um, but just don't take on that job on yourself. You cannot heal her traumatic past. You can be there for her, but you cannot have expectations. Um, do not put somebody else's traumatic healing ahead of your happiness. Because if you do, you will become the enabler of that person's um, growth versus the tree that grows beside them. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but my personal opinion is never heal somebody. Provide an environment where they can heal themselves, right? So she has healing to do for a traumatic past. You can support her system. You can support her environment. You can love her. You can be beside her, but she will heal herself with your support. You cannot heal her. You cannot heal her. Just in case you need to hear that message for some reason, I feel like repeating it. You cannot heal her. She has to heal herself. You can provide the environment which will allow her to. And for the nurses in the room, if there are any still in the room, we create the right environment for healing. We don't heal. We cannot heal the wound. No. We cannot heal the pressure ulcer. We can only create the environment that allows the pressure ulcer to heal itself, right? Same thing in life. We cannot heal other people, but we can be kind, we can be gentle, we can be strong, we can be loving, we can be overarching. We can create the environment to allow the individual or the person or the injury to heal itself. We don't heal people. We don't heal skin. We don't heal things. We allow the environment to heal itself. Let's see. Yeah, Rook's talking too much.
Really? I'm talking too much?
We definitely need to throw Santa a bone for Christmas Eve to get better. That's an old text. I know it's an old chat, but yeah, I saw it earlier. Just didn't say it. Thank you, Sam Jelena. Definitely appreciate that comment. We try. I am not a streamer. Rook is not a streamer. We are just streaming stuff.
Definitely not.
Yeah, we're not gonna be like making millions and shit. We have jobs, but we absolutely are. At least I am, Rook. You can agree or not agree, but I am at a point in my life where I have a lot to give, and I want to give it. But I have so much to learn, and I want to learn it. And so that's kind of the point of this to me, is to give what I know and have somebody say, look, dude, you just gave what you know and you're a fucking idiot. Here's the truth. Give me the tea. Let's talk about it. Because I need to change myself every day too, to try to match and try to learn and try to grow. Let's see. Appreciate that. Staghorn the Druid. Woohoo. I love the name. That is awesome.
I know, that's a cool name.
Yeah, I really like that. So, Staghorn, I don't know if you're still in here. I hope you are. I would be very interested in knowing a little bit more about you because in the past, I would say 4 years, I have spent a lot of time with a local druid who has finished. She did, I can tell you without the OBOD, she is definitely a druid. There's no doubt that
Yeah. Yeah.
she exudes it. But she did just finish her OBOD third. What do they call it? Third, not degree, but she finished all the Guernsey for her third, for her Druid grade. That's what it is. Druid grade. Finished her Guernsey for the Druid grade. Got it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
took me a minute. And let me tell you, uh, she has grabbed me by the collar a few times. So I'd always be interested in learning more about how you interact or how you function within the Druid format, whether it's OBOD or obviously any. Um, OBOD is just one I choose because it's easy for a lot of people to understand. But absolutely would love to learn more about how you process that. Let's see, winding down for the night. No whiskey. Me either. We're on rum. Lame. I don't know. Not a pirate. Let's see. CIO, thank you for the
Thank
follow.
you. Yeah. Hooty.
Much appreciated. Look forward to seeing you again. Just so you know, the only scheduled stream we have is every Friday at 10 o'clock, which is our Drunk Witch story, followed by sometimes Tarot, sometimes Phasmophobia, sometimes The Forest, sometimes anything else. My guess is we'll probably be playing The Forest here soon. And obviously, I do a lot of streams in between that. They're just not scheduled because my full time job doesn't really have a great schedule. So I could be taking calls, whatever, at any time. So it's really hard to schedule that out. However, very glad that you have joined and started following. So please let me know if you need anything. And feel free to check out our Discord, which should pop up with an exclamation Discord command. Rook.
Hold on.
My mod is getting fired.
Fire me, bitch. Do me a favor.
So, anywho, that was kind of rude.
What'd you
So,
do?
nothing. I just said that was kind of rude. You're a rude person.
Well, depends on how I'm treated, right?
No, you're
Threefold law.
no, no. You're just rude.
Threefold law.
Just rude. There's no way around it. Just rude. Um, our main goal, just if anybody is curious, is not necessarily to do um, tarot. I absolutely love tarot, but more than anything, I really enjoy having the discussions with different people about how they feel about stuff, what their thoughts are on just any topic. Because um, I currently have formulated a process and an idea of how I work through life and spirituality, and that is designed to change because it certainly has changed from when I was growing up Southern Baptist. So there's that. Um, CIO, thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Um, I honestly feel like sometimes, and especially with tarot, which I don't like to do too many tarot readings because I do get a little frantic. Um, but I appreciate that statement. And thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us. Staghorn, see, it started with me teaching myself how to play guitar. Oh, I'd love to do that. I'm trying to teach myself how to play piano again, but I still suck. Technically, I wouldn't be the ovate stage. Okay, so that's too cool. So have you done actual Obad, the Gorse or Gorsey? Um, it's interesting that we have so many different names for different types of crafting or situations that we progress in, and I find, um, sorry, I didn't know my light was that bad. But I find that the Druid has been one of the most fulfilling, only mostly because it allows for you to experience things in a different way.
Yeah.
Rook and I both pretty much have done the majority of the Bardic course, um, and it's been interesting. You've learned a lot, but it's been nice to kind of be just kind of up in the air. So it's been fun. So I am
Uh,
not going anywhere permanently, but for just a moment, I am going to step out.
all right. Yeah. No, it is neat. All the different paths and pieces to take from the different paths. What I really like about Druidry is it's kind of a calm but strong practice that's so interesting with the nature. We spend a lot of time with someone in our tribe that's that Mystic mentioned that's a druid, and it's just a awesome freaking energy that she has, and it's really neat. I wish I could garden. I kill things. I've got to learn how to do it. I think that would be really awesome. We bought a couple of acres of land about 4 months ago, and we'd really like to plant some, some things out there, some trees, maybe citrus trees, and grow different herbs and things. I think that'd be really cool. Really cool. What are you doing? I don't know what Mystic's doing. What are you doing? Oh, he's got to show his baby. Miss Lexi, we see your butt. We do see your butt.
My butt?
Yeah, sticking out in the land.
So this is my baby.
That is Lexi, who should be named Sequin, by the way, but it's Lexi.
This is my baby.
Oh, Lexi. That's the Sammy. Yeah, Sammy. Yep, yep, yep.
I love her.
Two coats of hair that sheds all the time. She's sweet.
She's the
Oh,
she's the Florida polar
a
bear.
Malamute. Yeah. Oh, Ma Petite's jealous. Uh-oh. Ma Petite's getting jealous. What's he doing, Ma? No, come here. You're gonna fall, baby. She is jealous. No, come here.
Sorry, I got dog fur in my mouth. All right.
A bulldog that farts too much. Oh, oh, I bet she's beautiful. Or he.
So, what type of bulldog?
Ah, Samgelina has a Sammy too.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Oh.
All I can say, Sam Gelino.
Arr.
Two things. Number one, there
Come here,
is
Kikuchi.
no such thing as any breed of dog that is more loving. Like they are all about trying to make us. That's all she does is try to make us happy. I love her. However, um, they have their demands, of course. I am telling you though, that dog that you just saw on the camera is like literally my heart. So, my boss at work already knows if something should ever happen or potentially happen, I will quit before they will prevent me from coming home to see my
Oh, cover
dog.
up your coochie.
And then we have the Chihuahua.
I had to cover her cooch. Oh, thank you, Muppet. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
That's
Oh,
what
thank.
we call an attention whore.
She's definitely an attention whore. Mademoiselle Ma Petite Poissette. She knows her name.
So, anywho, Let's see. I'm gonna go back through chat just a little bit. So let's see. I started. Totally get that. Staghorn. Let's see. Hell no. Yeah, I agree. I think we talked about it before I went. You know, all of it really does come down to Staghorn the Druid. The Druid is a label,
Oh.
and ultimately, like I don't ever and can see myself as a Druid. I mean, even if let's say I went through all of the OBODs or the ABAD or ABOD or whatever the groups are in the United States or wherever, I don't think I would ever consider myself a Druid because I don't fit any of the labels. Druid would be the easiest and most explainable one that I could come up with. Problem being that uh, it's not just Druid though. You know, there's a lot more than Druid. I have a really heavy witchcraft side, very heavy left-hand path that's new. Um, it is very limiting. It's kind of sad that it's so limiting because there's so much more that we can do um, without the label. Unfortunately, people need labels in order to, you know, feel like they fit into whatever the process is or whatever, you know. So it makes sense to have the label. Druid does fit me more than anything else does, but it does not explain my entire story, and so that in that case it is limiting. Makes complete sense. And love Malamutes. So beautiful dog. Oh my God.
Yep.
Uh, Anybody who wants to join our Discord, this Salty Raven, please feel free to join. And please post pictures of your dogs or any animals. We have
Oh, please.
2 Samoyeds,
Yep.
Chihuahua, an American short-haired cat, and 2 ferrets.
Pharisees.
The Pharisees, Kali and Kratos.
Yay, thank you, Staghorn.
Yep, thank you for the follow, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm still behind on chat. Let me see. 60 kilograms of dump. That's so funny. I'm telling you, I have never seen so much
Oh,
fur on a
God.
frickin' dog. That's a lot of fur. It just really is. Yeah, not only would they sleep on the children, but if you had Samoyeds, they were actually bred to keep their mushers warm, right? So if you were pulling a sled or going down whatever, they would they don't take on water from the snow. It just literally falls right off of them. Hypoallergenic, don't really hold a lot of dirt. They can climb right in your sleeping bag, which is what they were a lot of times bred or kept for. And they get right in there with you and keep you warm. You can't beat that for sure. We need a little bit of extra light here. There we go.
Ooh, are you sure you won't burn in the light?
No, but this one is just too bright in my face, so. But yeah, so I mean, we have a good time. A good smattering of animals. So if you came in a little bit later, we do a drunk witch story. I air quote it because it's not always witchy. It's not always a witch, but it is witch history. So every Friday night at 10 o'clock, between 10 and 11, depending what's going on, I actually do work in modding and working in another channel that is very close and near and dear to my heart. Sometimes we'll put ours off a little bit. But we do this witch history, and we talk about a modern and or a historical witch every week. This week was modern. We discussed Matt Oren, who is somebody that I actually heard on a podcast. So Rook does our modern, research and I do our
Okay.
historical research. So every week we kind of do a good 20 or 30-minute talk about a witch from history, whether it's modern or a long time ago. Have a bit of discussion and get some topics going, and that is a lot of where the discussion about the school came about, which was pretty nice. I will also reiterate, hopefully it's not broken, but the tarot queue is open. We have had a tarot reading. It may not work all that great sometimes, so hopefully if you are in the queue and I did not call you, please make a comment so that I can follow that up.
How do I check it?
I'm checking it, but it's not working the way it is intended. It is CloudBot, which I am not a big fan of, by the way. If anybody uses CloudBot, it is a piece of junk. But the queue is open, technically. Problem is, it's not functioning the way it was designed. So, if you were in the queue, it may have kicked you out. Let's see. You are actually not in the queue, but I might add nobody is. So, um, I've never used CloudBot before. It's been quite a piece of crap in the past. So let's see.
You want me to try it and see if it lets me join and you just kick me out?
Nah. Um, is there anybody who joined the queue who has not had a tarot reading? And Rachi, it's okay. I am not new to this, but I am definitely new to the CloudBot that comes with Streamlabs. It is not working to my favor. So I will absolutely do a reading for you. I'm going to make you next on our list.
Yeah.
So we will do a reading. But in the meantime, is there anybody else in chat who would like to have a tarot reading? We'll put you on the list. If you want to join, !join. If you already joined and it's not showing up, please just say so. We're all chilling here. Nobody, shit happens. What can you do about it,
Un pase. Un pase.
So if you want to join, !join, Rachi555, we are making you number one. So let's go ahead and get
Thank you.
planned and started for you. In the meantime, I do want to add one of the things we would like to do with our witch history and our Discord whole chat thing, stream, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it, is we want to invite people from the community to hop on if they are comfortable doing so into our video and or voice chat to have discussions about anything witchy, pagan, occult related whatsoever, whether we know about it or not. Love to learn, love to do whatever. Yeah, so if you want to join in here tonight and have a discussion, come on in. Feel free. Otherwise, let me know. So let's.
Oh yay!
What?
Rachi, we'll do it.
We'll do what?
We'll join to talk about things like as a guest. Not tonight. I gotcha. She's a reader. Hey, we should have her on. Absolutely.
Most
That
definitely.
would be awesome. Awesome.
That's the
Come on,
deck I
baby.
want. Yeah, no, anytime. Like, whether it is in the future or now, we are game. Because I have just had such great experience with right now's, hey, how's it going? I've never met you. What are you doing? Talking about this. Oh, I have something to say. Let's talk about it. There is absolutely no judgment here. There's no concern issue. Seriously, because I think everybody's point is valid. And not just from my own perspective. I just mean that like we have no right to tell somebody else that they're valid or not. So if you have something you want to say that you don't want to actually get out in the chat, you can just tell me, and you can join right up on the video and or the video. Doesn't matter. But if you're only comfortable in chat, certainly okay too.
Yeah.
That was really loud.
Oh, how did you put the Discord link up again? Exclamation Discord?
Yep.
I think she's trying to. Yeah.
So if anybody else would like to have a reading tonight, please exclamation join, and you can join the queue. I have no clue how the queue closed. It was never closed. However, I just had to open it, so really, it was closed. Alrighty. So I
Yay!
am going to assume, based on I've seen a couple of things. I see the RACHY 555. I also see the dot dot dot, which is your ellipses following RACH. I'm thinking Rach. So if it's a Rachy 555, hopefully I am pronouncing that correctly. Um, Let me know if you have a general request or if this is a specific request. If you have a question you'd like to ask. Um, so yeah, let me know. Awesome. Best friend from high school. Talk to her like once every
Oh,
2 years is Rachel. Love the name, so it's Rachy555. Got it. I'll mess it up again, don't worry. It's my life. So do you have a specific question, or do you want a general read, or how do you want to get a message from the tarot today? I've got to get my tarot set up back. It is so messy right now.
What deck are you using?
So I am completely with you. So um, most tarot readings are that way anyway, no matter what question you ask. I will put up just for a moment the opportunity to see some of the different decks that we have. And yes, there are 126 different options of decks that you could technically choose, which we will put into place soon. Um, I'm trying to feel like, I'm going to use this deck that I have. It called to me. It's what I want to use. It's what feels right. So I'm going to put that down. Um, oh, rephrase. They're not all tarot decks, by the way. See, I'm separated. I have a couple Lenormands. Very few, like 3 Lenormand decks. Quite a few oracles. I love Oracle. Oracle, though, for me is more of a clarification to the tarot. And tarot is not based on the traditional tarot. I do an intuitive tarot. I am familiar with astrology and numerology and some other things that help me read, but I don't read necessarily the book for each deck that I own. It gets a little crazy. So what I'm using right now is going to be the Light Seers Tarot, mainly because good general deck. The imagery is beautiful. It's very progressive, and not progressive politically. Don't know that needs to be said, but it's progressive in so much as the imagery used really helps you decide what's next. What is the progress? Where do I go? Um, and Rachie, if you would like, I can do a clarification, or at any time in the future, I can read from a specific oracle deck as well. A couple of the best oracle decks that I have are the Mausoleum, the Angelarium, among quite a few others. So um, I like working with different decks. I think different decks have different meanings and give different processes as we go through what we do. But anyway, I'm going to start with this this tarot deck with the Light Seers Tarot, and we are going to do a general.
Oh, that's a good deck.
It's one of my favorites.
It's a really nice deck.
if anybody must know, Steampunk by Barbara Moore is the number one deck for me. So we might do a couple out of that deck too. But anyway, all right. I still am not ready yet. Got Raichi.
Ma petite. Oh, where's Fred?
Where's who? All right, and I apologize. There is a couple of delays in when I do tarot. I'm slow. It is 1 a.m. Just saying.
Yeah.
Um, B, I can't start pulling cards until I feel like I'm connected, at least a little bit, to the person that I'm talking with and reading for. So, um, so let's pull. We might need to pull a couple of runes as well. I do read runes. I'm quite familiar with them. And I find them very beneficial because they offer a structure to the tarot that may not necessarily be in the tarot. So anyway, we're going to start with a 3-card draw, Raichi, and let's see what we get, okay? All right, so what I do when I do a tarot reading right now, and it's different for each person. So we are doing a 3-card draw, and we are drawing where are we? And then I have a feeling I'm going to need to draw some clarifiers or where are we going? So where are we? The first card that we see is the 6 of Swords. Unfortunately, it's inverted. And so the 6 of Swords isn't necessarily a great card to begin with, but you can't really label them good or bad, right? 6 of Swords is in a normal position. It's talking to us about escaping a bad situation. I don't know what that bad situation is for you, but there's something that's in your current life or your current process that you need to get away from. You know you need to get away from it. The birds in the card, birds remind us that we have wings, we can fly, we can get away, but we choose not to. So whatever it is that's in your life going on right now, Rachie, that you need to get away from, you already know it. You need to get away from it. It does not have to be some big, massive thing that you have to escape from or you're going to die. It just means that there's a situation that you're aware of, you already know about, you need to go away from it. So stop playing. The Nine of Swords generally reflects a situation that, again, you are in. It's nearing the end, but it's not going the way you want it to. So again, we're still talking about the situation that you know you need to get away from. It's not going to end. It's not going to end positively. You're not going to have a great outcome, but you certainly need to get away from it. So you need to do it. There's no more waiting. The one thing that is really nice, though, so far is at the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is basically telling me that, there is something in you that wants to go to the next level or the next step of whatever it is you're doing, but you're afraid. The Page of Wands pretty much comes up when a person who has questions already has the answers. So, to me, when we look at different court cards of the tarot, we're talking about people. So, it either represents you or somebody in your life needing to deal with their passion or their process or their desires or their creative spark or their creative energy. But coupled with the other two cards, it's basically really underlining how important it is for you to move on, right? So let's go back and look a little bit at these three cards. Six of Swords inverted. Move on. Get away. You know the answer. You know what to do. You just don't want to do it because it's different. The Nine of Swords. You're nearing the end of the process. It's not going the way you want it to. You're not going to be fulfilled by the answer. So whatever it is you're doing or you're thinking about right at this very fucking moment, if you are thinking about something, whatever that is, it's not working, let it go. It's time to move on. And then the Page of Wands is reminding you that you can't move forward until you let go of where you are, right? So let's say you're working on a project. This is not part of the cards, by the way. This is the psychological side of my head. You're working on a project. You put all this energy into it. You've thought about it. You processed. You did all this work. Blah 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 blah. And you're getting towards the end of it, and you present it to your boss, and your boss says, "You're a fucking idiot. You're fired." How are you going to deal with that? You put all this energy into it. You've worked so hard to try to get to where you need to be, and you're told it's worthless. You can either say, fuck you, I'm out, or what could I have done differently? How could I progress the situation? How could I move forward? So, from my perspective, if I'm doing just a general read, three things come to mind. Make a decision. Stop worrying about what the outcome is going to be, because that's not going to change. And do it. So don't be afraid of making the decision. Don't be afraid of whatever it is you have to do. If you are at the point where you need to stop doing something, then stop doing it. If you are just making up an excuse because you don't feel like doing it anymore, so what? Right? I mean, if it's time to move on, it's time to move on. You can't judge yourself for that. I mean, seriously, when I look at these cards together, you've got two swords and a wands page. This is all about you making a decision to say, fuck it, I'm done. So yeah, I like it. Fuck it, I'm done. That's the new world. Fuck it, I'm done. How about that? So, within those short reads or short cards, my recommendation would be whatever you decide to do, stick to it and move it through, and don't feel guilty for making that decision. You've done enough. You've done what you need to do. You've spent enough energy doing it. Now do for you. If doing for you is helping others, great, help others. If doing for you is to everybody else, then flick them all off and move the fuck on. We're not all destined to be angels. Not necessarily. And I don't know your situation. I don't know your detail. All I can tell you is what I see in the cards. And the cards don't say to do one thing or another. The cards say consider the situations that you're in, right? So your Six of Swords doesn't say, fuck everything. I don't give a shit. This doesn't mean, okay, Here's your middle finger, right? What's the general definition of middle finger? Say it.
Fuck off.
Fuck off, or fuck you.
Fuck you.
So if I say fuck you because I don't like you, I'm kind of a douche, right? But if I say fuck you because you didn't give a shit about these kids when I did, right? That's a different that's a different kind of fuck you, right? So fuck you can be like I'm an asshole, I hate you, I'm a dick. Or fuck you can be like I'm stronger than you, fucking get over your shit, I'm doing my thing, right?
Hmm.
So you really have to kind of decide how that's going to be for you. Could be. I mean, I think ultimately, I mean, anything that we do, we decide ourselves. And again, I can't even begin to assume what your situation is. You did give me some additional information about children that you are fostering, but one of the things is, when I was growing up, my aunt fostered a lot, and she really made a difference in a lot of kids' lives. And she had to give a lot of kids up too because she never adopted them. She was really, really just a foster mom. So she would take them in, she would take care of them, and then they'd try to find them a permanent home, and then she'd let them go so they'd at least be stable as much as possible during that time. But then the end result is everybody's fucking fucked up, right? So it doesn't matter. What does matter is putting in the energy in the short amount. This is so going back to our meditation discussion earlier.
Yeah.
As a registered nurse, if I have 20 patients on my assignment today in 8 hours, that is 480 minutes. I'm going to divide it. I'm going to make it 24 patients because it gives it an easy divide. So 480 minutes divided by 24 patients is 20 minutes. Could be completely wrong on that, so please don't get a calculator out. I have 20 minutes per patient, right? In that 20 minutes, I am going to do everything I can in that 20 minutes to devote that time to that individual to make their life better. It's the same thing with fostering. You may not have them for the entire time, but for the time that you do have them, you are going to make it the most valuable time that you can so that 10 years from now, they may not be well adjusted. But the one thing that they can say is, you know what, I've fucked up a lot of my life, but thankfully, I did have that one person who believed in me, so I was able to pull it together long enough to go to school and get a career, right? And so that is the value that we have that we can place on and that we can advise to and give to the people in our lives that we interact with or that we come in contact with. So, soapbox ending. Ultimately, from the cards, the message is you have to make a decision. No matter what you decide, it's not going to be the end of the world, but you're not going to be happy with it either way. So that's no fun. And I hate to be in that situation too, because when you're looking at trying to figure out what the next step of anything is, you spend so much time trying to figure out what to do that you could just decide to do it and then figure it out. And that doesn't always work either, but one of my bosses always told me, I would rather you make a decision that's wrong based on the best information that you have than make no decision at all. So, because if you make no decision at all, nothing happens. So, I mean, I could say pull the band-aid off. I don't really necessarily get that feeling of pulling the band-aid off. But it comes down to taking stock of what is the best option for everybody. You know, sometimes the best way isn't the easy way, and sometimes the best way isn't the hard way. So, I mean, nobody knows your situation but you, right? And so you've got to take stock of that. Take a breath and think about, okay, if I do A, then this is going to happen. If I do B, then this is going to happen. If I do C, this is going to happen. Which one of these options is going to give the best outcome for everybody involved? And that's really where I would go with it. Especially with multiple swords cards, they always, in my experience, when you get a reading with all swords, which two of the three were, um, it means taking a logical and intelligent approach to something is more important than an emotional approach. But you could really say that about anything, to be honest.
Okay, ma petite, come on. I'm gonna go put Ma to bed.
Mm-hmm. Are you leaving? Because it sounds like you're trying to leave. And Rachie, I think the most important thing for me really is it
Ma.
we're not going to come up with the best answer, and I I do truly believe that tarot's value is giving us new perspectives, or at least new positions to consider. It never does not mean to me that those positions are necessarily the best, right? Because sometimes something that's the best is quantifiable, meaning we can value something as the best when it's not truly the best because of the emotions placed on it, and vice versa. We may devalue an option because there's not an emotion placed on it. So just consider, when whatever it is that you need to do, if I had to give advice, the advice would be to consider as many options as possible before making a decision. And that no matter what decision you make, it's going to be the right one. So that's my thought. Um, we are still. Hey, I think we're going to have to go to bed soon. Because I am getting tired. That is for
I know.
true.
My eyes are closing.
I know. Well, go to bed then. We don't need you.
Holla.
Holla.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. It was good visiting with you all. Ma petite, say good night. Good night.
Bye, Ma.
Mm. Okay, how'd I put this one? All right.
Well, damn.
What?
You just jump right on fucking out.
What didn't I say? If I disconnect, will it screw it up?
Nah, you'll be fine. All right, so it is 1:30 a.m. EST. Is there anybody in the chat who would want to join Discord and or video? I'd like to have any discussions. Please let me know. I will put you right on. Yeah, he just left me and I'm like not ready yet. Terrible. Married life, I tell you. So we have a lot of what's the word? God, he is typing. Nice try. I really need a wireless headset. So I just have to say, since Rook is leaving, how freaking awesome it is to see everybody in tonight. I've been streaming for quite a long time, did a lot of video game streaming, and then quit for a couple years, restarted back. And our entire goal really is just to kind of reach out and have conversations with different people. And it's been so freaking rewarding to do so. Witch History's been fun. Enjoyed that, but the comments and the conversation has been really the most fun part. Truly. Um, while I like to do tarot, I enjoy it. I am comfortable with it. I really like doing different decks and all this stuff. I actually like the theory and discussion behind it even more, which is hard to find. So again, anybody who is in the stream and or Discord who would like to have any type of discussion on voice or video, you are more than welcome. Or you just type it in the chat. That's good too. But since Rook has left me high and dry, I am looking for somebody to fill in this section of the Discord screen for a discussion. So please feel free. Yeah. Can you do me a favor? So, we did close the queue only because I probably will need to go to bed soon. So if I do another reading, it'll be one or two more, and we will figure that out on the way. So. Or I could just play the forest by myself since nobody else wants to play. 1:30 actually. So I actually, like I said before, have quite a few different tarot decks. Where's the green? Here it is. A couple of favorites, though, since I figured I would share those while we are talking, is the Light Seers Tarot. I don't have the box for it, but I can show you a couple of the images that I just have found pretty cool. So you can see in the Light Seers Tarot, if anybody's interested, it's a very modern deck, but it still has connections pretty much to quite a few different things. It's very comfortable. It's very easy to read. It does follow a typical Rider-Waite standard, but it is, again, very modernized. So I'm not plugging the deck, but this is one of the decks that I tend to use more than some of the others. So very common for me. The Light Seers deck it's interestingly enough, it's not just about the light. It's not just the unicorns and glitter. There is a shadow version. Not so much as in another deck that's a shadow version, but a shadow version as in there's a shadow meaning for each of the cards. And I find it very important that we balance that when we are looking at tarot or when we are learning or educating ourselves about tarot. That we recognize the as above, so below. That's a personal perspective. It doesn't have to be followed by anybody. But it is important to me. Another deck, this is the one I mentioned earlier. I'm going to share it, and then we probably would go ahead and end stream. Unless somebody's willing to hop into Discord and have a debate or a conversation with me, because, yeah, I'm in the mood. All right. So this is a mini deck. I have 2 large and 2 small copies of this one. This is by far the deck that I use most often to read, but I'll share a couple of them with you. Thank you. First card I'm going to show you is literally my favorite card in any deck. This is the Hermit. Now, if anybody has any questions about how I read tarot or my thoughts on tarot, please be completely frank. Feel free to share whatever questions you may have. I'm very interested in learning how people feel about tarot. Just another random card so you can kind of see what is in this deck. This is the Six of Swords, I think. Yeah, Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords is actually an interesting card for me. Um, it does carry a bit of a traditional meaning. This card often comes up when there is a domestic violence situation or when somebody's fleeing and they need to get away from a situation that is not healthy for them and they want to move on. They need some help to do that, though, right? So this is the card that says, I have a friend that will be with me to the end, and they're going to help me get out of this situation that's pretty negative and pretty difficult. So, pretty big card for me. Love it. It's very comfortable, very comforting. But yeah, this deck, I don't know what it is about steampunk. I do like steampunk imagery, but the deck itself is just freaking amazing. So we are actually at 1:30 on the dot. We have had a lot of things going on tonight, and it has been a wonderful evening. I want to give a huge thanks to Sam Jelena Zero, who has followed us, Rachie555, CO7733, and Staghorn the Druid, all who have followed. Please feel free at any given time to join our Discord, hang out, hop on the stream. This is Rook and I are never going to be YouTube stars or Twitch stars or these big streams. That's not our goal. We do really just want to communicate, talk, have some conversation, learn a couple of things, maybe teach some things at some point, and just have some conversations and probably play some games at some point too. So we are completely just wanting to have a good time, hang out, chill. So if you want to hop in again at any given time when we're doing a stream, or if you would like to join, or if you have something really important that you'd like to say about a situation, about a topic, about witch, about druid, whatever, let us know. We will be more than happy to put that in the stream. And at this point, I think we're going to call it a night. Oh, I always hate saying we're going to call it a night right when I get a hello. Hi, Killer Mage. Mage. How's it going? We are actually getting to the point where we're just about to end stream. We've had a pretty fun night tonight. But since you have dropped in to say hi, hi back. We have done quite a few things this evening, actually. We've done a couple of tarot readings, pretty small. Rachie, thanks. Yes, nice having you in the chat, too. I'm glad to have it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming in. Killer Mage, I was technically ending, actually, because Rook, who is the second half of the screen, you see blank here, has gone to bed. We are doing some prep work to our land tomorrow in preparation for our Yule celebration that we'll be inviting people over for. So we've got a lot of work to do tomorrow, but would love to catch you anytime. And yeah, so we'll be kind of hanging out. A couple of things, though, since you did hop in, even though it's towards the end, our kind of platform really is communication, talking, chatting. If you are interested in ever hopping in the chat, the Discord, on stream, off stream, video, not video, doesn't matter. We're looking for all perspectives, all discussions, anything that comes up, we're going to put on the stream because we really want to keep that idea of validation. You know, your decisions on how you live life is valid. I'd love to know about it, right? We would love to know about it. We'd like to learn more. And if we disagree with it, then that's just what it is. Hey, we disagree with it. Doesn't make it any less of a valid situation for you. So we do a little bit of tarot here and there. Probably most likely you'll find us playing The Forest, Phasmophobia, Destiny 2, games kind of we play. And then obviously the witchy thing is our big thing. I am a huge metaphysics researcher, study. That is my thing. Rook is, again, you don't see him because he's already hopped off, but Rook is really big into Wicca, very spell oriented. I am definitely more energy metaphysical oriented. Like to have those discussions. If you ever would like to join the Discord and or a stream to have a discussion, we are more than welcome. Very impromptu, just kind of hanging out. Our goal is not to do this this big, huge stream empire of media. It's literally just sharing ideas between a couple of people, right? I have found that I learn more, I feel better, I feel more engaged, I interact better in small groups of people, whether it's physically close or digital. And I think we kind of all agree on that. I'm definitely the metaphysical guy of the group here, though. I'm just incredibly interested in metaphysic history. It's been a recent research topic of mine. Energy manipulation. Learning a lot lately, actually, about how Plato and Socrates and God, I can't remember the rest now. I've been drinking too much. But anyway, the rest of the group, quite a few individuals, how they really functioned and created metaphysics as a science, and why current science treats metaphysics as a pseudoscience, which it isn't, which by my best theory at this point can only be said as what is this, 2020, 50 years ago, try telling somebody about a cell phone, right? They're going to call you a crook and a fake. And here we are, sending electronic magnetic waves over the air. Everybody has their own cell phone they can take anywhere they want. Just because we don't understand it and don't know it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, which can really go even further now that I mention it, right? If we don't experience it, does it exist? Is there a reality separate from the reality we experience or perceive? If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to hear it, does it make a sound? Yes, it does. How do you know? Nobody's there to hear it. Anyway, yeah. Oh, no. Science will always conflict with spiritual. Absolutely 100%. I am with you on that. I would say it's too funny, but it's not, because the thing is, it's almost like science started as a way to confirm the spiritual, became a way to prove spiritual doesn't exist, and now it just doesn't know what to do. Because there are so many things that we don't even know about, that we can never even imagine, that don't exist yet. And how in the hell can we decide at this point that it doesn't exist? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Fun stuff, though. I would absolutely love to have that kind of a discussion with you anytime. That is right up my alley. And I agree with that statement 100%. Science will always conflict, and it does confirm the spiritual. The problem is when you look at science, like anything right now that science is scientific method, it has to be proven. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as even proof, in my opinion. Proof is just really, really good, substantial evidence, right? Because that substantial evidence is only good or as good as the information we have right now. 100 years from now, that's not going to be good enough. You're going to need this extra step. 100 years from now. From then, yeah, a whole bunch more to support it. So, I mean, we learn stuff, and one of the things that I think has really failed us in science is that science has become something that's looking for proof. Science was never about proof. Science was about learning and understanding and finding and observing and getting and looking and asking and all of these things, right? Science was all about all of the things that you could do to maybe figure out what's going on, knowing that you never will know. So, fun times. That would be, dude, a conversation or dudette. I'm sorry, shouldn't assume that. But that would absolutely be a discussion that I would be amazed and love to have. Like I said earlier, our whole platform really right now is scheduled stream Friday nights at 10 o'clock. That is the Drunk Witch story or Whiskey and Witches, whichever one it is. Tonight it was Drunk Witch story, even though whiskey would have been better probably. And we talk a little bit about a either modern or a historical witch, whether they were a witch or not, but witch history, if it relates. We kind of have the discussion and kind of build off of that onto whatever other topics come up. But one of the things that we are trying to set up here that we would like to continue is that at any time during any stream that we are on, if you have something you would like to say or discuss, the invite is open to Discord to join the video and or voice chat. Of course, chatting in the text box is always okay as well. Some people are not comfortable. Completely understand that. So would love for everybody to stay in touch. Every once in a while, we will do tarot readings. Not the main focus of our stream, only because tired. Both work and I have very demanding full-time jobs that definitely take more than full-time hours. So, yeah, that makes it tiring. But anyway, I think we're going to go ahead and take a leave and end stream here in just a few moments. I am absolutely appreciative and am so excited for those of you that stopped in to say hi and hope to see you again. If you are not the bashful type, let us know. Be more than excited to have you on to kind of discuss topics with us at any given time. And we will be back next Friday at 10 p.m. for Drunk Witchery and having some more discussions. In the meantime, we'll have a couple streams here and there. Yeah, that's our deal. No harm, no foul, no pressure. And would love to see some of you again. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and we are out. So have a good night.